Because we're making a show.
That is freaking
Who are
funny.
those two losers?
You know who those guys are? I know who those guys are. Matt
Love it.
Rubin. I figured, just everybody all at once, right? We're just gonna cram it in your cram hole, LaFleur.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay, I had to put that in there. Originally, I had Eddie Murphy Trading Places. Matty New Year. I had that one. And I was like, no, I need that because we're making a show.
We beat out Eddie Murphy. Oh my god!
Wow,
that's pretty. Thank you. That's pretty high honors.
That's your official intro all the time, not just because Jay's here.
No, it's because Jay's here. I always change the very end piece. I always change it. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. So like I had Brian on. Sorry, I had a moment. We were talking about Legends of the Hidden Force, which is a toy line, independent, based on the unproduced 95, Ninja Commandos from A Real American Hero. And so I had, Sho Kosugi.
The best.
It just depends. Yeah, it just depends. Raj, look, Raj is here. What's up, Raj? Good to see you, man.
What's up, dude?
Tubular Triad. We need to bring Tubular back. Tubular.
Well, we do need to bring back Tubular. I try to keep Rad alive, and one of my favorite things to say is stellar. When people at the store, they're like, "How are you today?" I'm stellar. How are you?
I like that.
Jay, here's a question for you.
Mikey, what are you doing over here? Said the guy in the corner.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Listen. All right, all you guys over here. It's a Cobra Adidas jacket. Thank you, actually, very much. By the way, thank you.
It's not a jersey nor a hoodie.
It's a
track jacket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't go wrong. Abby from Figure Fight Club with a $20 super chat.
Right.
Thank you, let me.
Nice.
That's being split 3 ways, right?
Let me get that for you. You deserve a round of applause, my friend. It says for an epic 2025. Yeah, I hope everyone has an epic 2000. This chat is lying. I hope everyone has a fantastic 2025. Father Son Galaxy says, "Yay, Jay's here."
Hey, Father Son, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again.
Praxis says, "My man Chad with Justin." Watched him for years, and Jay to round us out. Good stuff. Yeah.
What up?
We didn't do formal intros. I think I'm going to move away from that.
Oh,
I'm not like a talk show host. Anyway, but whatever. Joining me tonight to talk all things dollies and shelfies is Justin Carey, the artist formerly known as Justice Cury, and the artist formerly known as Stadium J. Formerly known as DOA J, formerly known as Tinder Tape J, Jay Bartlett.
What's going on? I'm gonna call you Justice. What? Okay, so I don't know the story. Tell me, mate. What happened with the name change?
All right. Well, my real name is Justin, and I was a police officer for almost 20 years. And when I started diving back into the toy world 10 plus years ago, I started getting friend requests from people that I arrested. And I was kind of in the closet with my toy collecting, so my coworkers didn't know because I didn't want to be teased. I was kind of in the infancy stage. So I created Justice Cury as a Prince or a Madonna. Muhammad Ali, people change their name for privacy's sake. But then when Facebook makes you get that blue darn check mark, they have you upload your driver's license.
Right.
And I needed that blue check mark because I had my my freaking X account get hacked. I couldn't get back in it. And I'm like, if my Facebook gets hacked and I'm screwed, so that blue check mark gives you that extra layer of protection for hackers. And I said, it's more important to me to keep that secure than keeping that old name.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now we know, Chad.
Half the battle, buddy.
Yeah, something like that.
The other half is violence.
Yeah, yeah. The other half is well-aimed fires. That's what
That's right.
Jeff Morris, our good friend Mo, says, I
What's
love
up,
the
Mo?
Cobra hoodie guy.
Yeah, me too. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
That shirt made its way into Nintendo Quest. That
Nice.
Adidas jacket. That thing's from like 2002, man. It's so old.
Oh, yeah.
It still
Yeah.
fits.
But that's good, though. You know, you keep something around like that. Our good friend Nico Tronus is here and says, good evening, Chad friends and Ninja friends, trademark Nico Tronus 2024. Working, but have the show on. I'll be AFK, but I'm here. Cool.
What are all those emojis mean? He's cutting trees, on fire, smoke. What is that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He's doing a thing.
All
I
right.
don't know.
It's got to be a hidden meeting.
In a tree, lighting a fire, and he's fanning it.
And then a green heart.
You want to say hi to Jake?
There you go.
Look,
Callie's being camera shy. Come here.
For once.
Yeah, I don't like. You can barely see the top of her head. She don't want to.
Can we talk about Jay's new project for a second? I'm curious to hear about N64 Quest.
Yes, let's please do it.
Should we tell everybody that this is just like a fly by the seat of our pants show, or?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
had a few things. Sorry, you do have a couple.
Look,
things
I got
to talk
3
about.
pictures. Okay, I mean,
Well, you're a talk show host over here. You gotta tell everyone what they're going to be.
We're talking with the chat and amongst ourselves, and we're having conversation. Yeah, Jay, why don't you tell us about N64 Quest?
Well, it's a television show that my
That's
good friend
great.
Rob
Anyway,
McCallum and I made. And you go around and collect tender tapes.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. It's a television show.
That's it.
I'm sorry. I had to. Whenever I get that opportunity, please.
What, did you take me out?
No, you're right here.
Oh, I thought you cut me out of the show like this.
Oh, that's awesome. Administer.
Okay,
Ooh, the power of the warrior.
Oh, do I have that? Can I do that?
No. Anyway, so yeah.
Oh, no, we're proud to say that it's finally everyone can see it, at least in Canada. It's on the Super channel under I think it's under Jinx, so I don't have that channel, but yeah, Rob's been pushing it like crazy, and we're very proud of it. So if you like video games, if you like the action figure adventure, and if you like Nintendo Quest, it's in the same vein, all for the Alzheimer's Society. So check it out.
Nice.
Check it out.
That's awesome.
Oh, there she is.
Random. When you want her to, she won't do it. Justin, have you seen it?
N64 Quest? No, I'm not in Canada, so I can't watch it.
Yet. Did you get the DVD or the Blu-ray, or
no? I'm gonna try to pull some strings with old Rob.
Or the beta.
And I didn't want Jay to be homesick, so I wore a Rob, flashy blazer here. Like
I like worn a scarf. That's what I should have.
Yes.
I should have.
We got to bring those back. That was like 2021.
That's what we were talking about in the pregame. He was like, "Oh, I wore the blazer because Rob's not here," and I was like, "I miss when they wore beanies and scarves."
Dude, that was out of control. Those were the out of control years.
No, that show's gold, man. The Jan Rob Toy Show, gold.
Oh, thanks. What's up, Robert?
Yeah, Robert's here.
Infinite Realms.
Mm-hmm. Brad Davenport says, "How's it going, fellas? Hope you're all enjoying your Sunday."
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you.
I am. So Justin, you got a Robo skull back there.
Oh yes, nice. I have not. Oh, sucker's huge. That's what she said. Robo skull. Yes, the Kickstarter was and I finally got mine shipped. A bunch of people were getting theirs about a month ago. And for those who don't know what Robo skull is, if you're living under a rock, so Action Force, which is the UK England's G.I. Joe second cousin, they had different action figures for G.I. Joe come out. They had different vehicles come out, and then some of the same molds that we had, like the Vamps, but they're in different color schemes. And the most iconic one, which I see on your wall behind you, Chad, looks like the vintage Robo skull, but it's literally like a skull with pogos on the side. It's the coolest 80s thing to come out of the Action Force line. But then there was a modern rendition that was a Kickstarter about 3 years ago, and I ordered a few of them, and I sold the other 2 to be able to finance and get this one with my flipping skills, and I'm going to be opening it in the next day or 2.
Amazing.
Flipping, yeah. How many did you get?
3.
That's
Which
right.
is funny.
I remember you put up a post saying something like, it's been 3 years and I forgot how many I ordered. And then, oops, 3 of them showed up. Yeah.
When 3 showed up, I'm like, hey, I guess. Cool.
Yeah. Logan Holmberg, what's up, man? Says, what's up, Chad? Found another great Christmas movie over the holidays, Nicolas Cage's Family Man. Yeah, that's a good movie. It is.
Oh.
It is. Matt Rubin says it's 50% knowing, 25% red lasers, 25% blue lasers.
True.
Actually.
Where's your glasses? You got to go. There you go.
Oh, let's all put on our glasses.
You got to go like this, and then it's G.I. Joe. Thank you. I don't want to be that guy, but
I'm sorry to inform you, sir. I can't wear my glasses on stream because they're for distance. And so when I wear them on stream, everything goes. That's a technical term. Yeah, it's about what it looks like. Trying to cruise through the chat here a little bit. Our good friend David sends a $20 super chat. Thank you, David, very much. You get one of these, my friend. Yep. It says to your next 10K mark.
Well, those are euros, it looks like.
Let's go.
20 euros? What's the conversion rate these days?
I
don't know.
That's about 25.
Actually.
Oh, well, that'd be 25 Canadian. So I don't know what that is US. Sorry.
A hoser?
Yeah. 25 donuts for Canada.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. Yeah, man. Goals to hit 10K by June. I don't know. The only thing that I really care about is I want to hit that million views mark.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
I thought you were going to say the only thing I want is just that million subs. That's it.
That's what I thought. I'm like, I don't know. I hate to break this to you.
No, because views in the eyes of YouTube, views are a little more important than subscribers, right? Because you have active and passive subs, and we're not here to talk about that. But thank you, David. I greatly appreciate you. Speaking of people I appreciate, our good friend JLS Comics is here. What's up, JLS? Good to see you. It says, "What's up, chat? Here's to an awesome 2025."
What's up?
Did you guys have a nice New Year's? How was your New Year's?
Absolutely. I went to a water park in Wisconsin with the whole family. The kids, we said, do you want a bunch of presents or do you want to go to a water park? And the kids,
I saw that.
Yeah.
And I responded, "You're an awesome dad."
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You did.
I did. Yeah. Jay, I know you can relate to this, right? Not to be Debbie Downer 2025 or anything, but Jay and I have talked about now that I'm on the other side. Jay and I have discussed this before about our dads. Jay and I didn't have the best dads, and
true story.
I have always, my number one goal with my children was always give them a better childhood than I had, be a better dad than I had.
Yeah.
And that's it. And as long as I hit those marks, I'm feeling pretty good. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So that's why, like when you made that post about we didn't do a bunch of presents and stuff, we went on a mini vacation. When I see dads doing awesome dad stuff, I'm always like, I want to champion that stuff. I really
absolutely. Absolutely.
Chad just tried to it doesn't matter like The Rock. No, I just say that's great. I'm telling you, anyone hanging out with us, all 100 of you in the chat, you two guys, when somebody starts rambling about something, just go, "That's great," and then they will stop. 100%.
That's hilarious. I'm going to use that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't too funny, man.
Is Chad wearing pants or a bacon kilt? I am wearing pants. Yeah. Sorry. Jay, are you wearing pants?
Shorts.
Commando.
Lies.
Shorts, black socks, and slippers, buddy.
Hey, Jay, you and I got those rad NES bull airs. Did you see that Justin has My Pet Monster bull airs?
Oh my god.
On his My Pet Monster?
Oh,
that's amazing.
See, he's not Commando. Sucker. Yeah. Bear Living Charlie, what's up, my dude?
That's amazing.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
My Pet Monster wearing a Marty McFly Back to the Future hat with some Ghostbuster goggles.
Super 80s. Super 80s.
Yeah, buddy.
Got the
I love bull airs. I can't wear this. I can't wear them because I don't want to wreck them, man.
No, I didn't even take mine out of the box.
Me neither.
I have those Luke Skywalker Jedi shoes, and then I have the Nintendo ones. I believe I do. And yeah, I can't wear them. I'm too scared to get them dirty.
Me too. I can't bring myself to wear them. It's like opening a Min on card figure. I can't do it.
No.
That's for you, Justin.
Justin's guest keeps peeking at the camera.
That's okay.
This is my little guy, my son Justin.
What's up, dude?
Yeah.
Hi, buddy.
All the way from Glasgow, a real life Bond villain by the name of George Aiken
Ooh.
wants to know, Canada, is that a made up country?
Not really. Canada's definitely seen better days, but not a made-up country. No.
Aaron Nichols, Happy New Year. Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Matt Rubin says, I remember that pattern from a couch I saw in the early 80s. It's nice to see.
Yeah. It'll give you a seizure if you stare at it too long.
So good.
It's from the 1950s.
Yeah, I'm confusing you guys for the McKenzie brothers. Hey, Hoser, take off, eh? Here you go, Jay. Read that, dude.
My brother's an RCMP sergeant in the Yukon. He's constantly teased about his son's Go-Joe collection. Oh, G.I. Joe collection. I made some major contributions to. I don't understand why he gets so much flack over it. Says Logan.
Yeah.
I don't know. G.I. Joe's like it's still the greatest toy line in existence. I'll argue that till I'm blue in the face. I prefer Star Wars overall as a series, sure, but G.I. Joe is the best toy line. It is. It just is, man.
Well, Star Wars has 3 fantastic movies. G.I. Joe can't say that. One thing about Joe, I remember at one point in time, Joe was referred to as the most collected toy line in history. Is that still accurate, or has that been replaced by like Legends or something?
Let me ask Chat GPT.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay, that'll give us an answer.
I'm gonna guess it's not still, but
I think it's probably not anymore. But Robert Diaz says that Robo Skull's in an 80s VCR box.
looks like it, yeah.
George Aiken says Red Shadows are back. Speaking of George Aiken, I specifically saved this box for tonight because George Aiken sent me this for Christmas. And since Justin was just giving a little backstory on Robo Skull and Action Force, handwritten note from Mr. George Aiken all the way from his evil volcano lair. However, he sent me a freaking triad fighter.
Oh, nice.
And while Justin is consulting the Chat GPT, I'm going to.
I'll give you the quick answer. It's that it's subjective, so it doesn't hold the definite title as most collected toy line.
I bet you somebody in the chat knows the answer. The chat always knows. Right?
The chat always.
Would Star Wars not be just for the amount of time it held shelf space? Like 95 and on, it's been there.
Yes.
Like that's a crazy amount of time for an old movie, right? Considering from 95 to 2000, before Phantom Menace, it was like original trilogy stuff. That's like unheard of.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm gonna
honestly not
guess.
too sure.
Yeah, Star Wars has got
Got a triad fighter from George. Look at that.
That's
Look at how
awesome.
rad.
Dude, that's so sick.
Man, you cannot
Yeah.
go wrong with Action Force. That is so freaking cool. Thank you, George. I will love this thing forever.
So great. So great.
Let me know if you need. I think I got a couple pieces. I don't know if that's complete or not because there's little tiny pieces that go on that thing. So if you find out you need some pieces later, let me know.
I'm pretty sure she's complete.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely too sure, but yeah, I got that gun put back on, and whatever. I wanted to open it while we're chatting.
Yes.
Some
Yes.
Christmas presents I still haven't gotten to, but yeah. So we'll ask the chat and see. Sergeant Curtis Schultz, Star Wars Squawk Box.
Love it.
One try. Violent Night is a must-see Christmas movie. Great cast. All people you know. Come out Christmas 23. It's a Santa Claus Die Hard. Jay, we were talking about.
This is the subject
On
that haunts
Christmas.
me. I don't know why it haunts me so, but
Is
sure.
Violent Night the one with the guy from Stranger Things?
Yes.
And all right.
It is.
You know what movie I've never seen, and it's part of pop culture, is the Krampus. Is that any good?
I've never seen that either.
I didn't like it.
Really?
But I don't like mixing horror elements with Christmas. I think it's kind of weird. So, that's cool, man. Look at that
I
green.
love that. Hey, we can be brothers. I got mine over here too.
Let's do it. Let's be toy bros.
So much cool stuff, all from
As he
George. That's
leaves.
great.
As he leaves, he goes away.
Let's hold them up at the same time.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, yours is more brilliant green than mine. Look at that. Or maybe it's just my lighting is messed up because
I don't know, maybe. I'm not entirely too sure. Thank you, George Aiken. Thank you so much, my friend, and they will be loved, loved, loved.
So awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
I saw Violent Night once, and I figured if he's supposed to be Kris Kringle, he gets his ass kicked a little too much. If he's supposed to be like this magical elf guy, I know there's like Norse mythology. Pendragon says, I watched Chad's Robo Skull video and I was kind of meh on the toy, but as a visual designer, the box is fantastic. Yeah. It is racking awesome. Ian, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Zaymont Rogue says 1 million views. We're going to need more Chad holes. No, I'm getting close, man. I'm getting there. It's like, how do you devour a whale? One bite at a time.
That's right.
Our good friend James Lucas is here. He says, hey, Chad, Justin, and the great collector of stuff, me. Hi. Good to
What's
see you,
up,
buddy.
James?
Yeah, good to see you. Balake's here. Okay.
Danjamin, how you doing, my brother?
Balake.
Let me throw my many of your viewers or you guys probably don't know of this Christmas movie. It's called The Christmas That Almost Wasn't, and it's probably from the 60s or whatnot. But why it's so awesome is, Mystery Science Theater 3000, where they show horrible movies and then they offer colorful commentary.
Yeah.
They do it
Tom
on the relaunch. Mystery Science Theater about 3 years ago did a reboot because it was an 80s thing, and it's on Netflix. You can watch The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. It's so ridiculous, and the commentary just has me rolling. It's awesome. I watch it every Christmas now.
Nice.
I'll check that out. Raj is asking, have I seen Alien Romulus? Have you guys seen Alien Romulus?
I did, yes.
Not yet.
3 of us have seen it. That's not bad.
Not yet. But I've only. Oh, I'm not going to even say that here. I'll say it. Oh, I guess last year's the first time I ever saw Alien or Aliens like all the way through. So
What?
yeah, I knew this guy would go nuts.
Aliens is so good.
I know.
Oh.
I agree. I see. We talked, Chad. You and I go back and forth. I prefer Alien because I like the horror dark hallway thing. But they're both good. They're both good.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Aliens is more explosion, set piece, drama, and Alien is more
bro, dude.
Cat. Oh, that's not the cat. What's in the dark corner?
Yeah.
Yeah. A little different.
It's the thing with the rubber fingers, and I laughed my butt off when I saw that. So good.
It's just so random out of the.
It's like jazz hands. Like,
yeah, there's a couple moments where you're like, it didn't age well.
Without giving any spoilers to Alien Romulus, my biggest problem was with it. The cast was so young. I'm like, what the heck? So again, I asked Chat GPT. I said, what was the average age of all the cast members in the original Aliens, and what was the average age of all of the ones in Alien Romulus? And it was drastically different. It was like the original Aliens, late 30s, early 40s. Romulus, all like 21, 20. It was because they want to keep that franchise alive and keep those actors for the next ones. And it just felt like I was watching teenagers, and they reinvented the wheel and used the same freaking steps where it wasn't anything new like the past couple Prometheus and whatnot. We're like, whoa, that's new, shocking stuff. It was
it kind of went in a different direction, but and Romulus is like that in between quote because it takes place between Alien and Aliens because they find the big chap and they spoilers. But anyway, House Hendo says I'm actually on my way to take my girls bowling. There you go, buddy. I'll catch the replay. Thank you very much. And our good friend Jeremy Jernigan, Ghost Daddy, sends a $2 super chat. Thank you, Jeremy, and says, "Sup, gents? Hope you all have a great stream. Good to see you, buddy. Miss you. I hope you're doing well." And Sergeant Curtis is yelling, "Let's go!" Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the point where everybody's talking about the thing with the thing of the thing. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, Jay, congrats on 55,000 subs, man.
Thank you.
Ooh, nice, man. That's
Appreciate
awesome.
that, buddy. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
You are exploding. Like I saw you were at like 47, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, Jay hit 50K," and I was like, "Damn, son." Like
it's the content of the videos that I change focus to, and it's video games are huge. That's just the reality of what it is. So yeah, thank you guys. I couldn't do without all of you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that's really the reality of it. Is that like no channel or anything is good without its subscribers, its viewers and people who comment and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean they're the real freaking heroes. Speaking of real heroes, our good friend Master Temple is here.
Hello.
And he wants to know what you two nerds are going to talk about today. And he is also a huge nerd.
We'll go anywhere the wind takes us.
I'm with Justin. Let's just go crazy. Let's talk about like men tech or something bizarre off the handle. Yeah.
I have 3 pictures. So there's really only like 3 cliff notes, if you will.
Oh, whatever. You just take over the show. Go ahead. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Whatever you want. You started this.
It's so good, man. Andrew Davis says, "What's going on, people? Happy New Year. What are we chatting about today? Toys,
dollies,
shelfies, dusty memories, the usual.
Sports jackets, Cobra jackets that are not hoodies,
Robo Skull,
the Triad fighter that George Aiken sent me, which is freaking amazing. Yeah. George Aiken says Crocmaster is missing his crocodile. Someone is wearing a suspicious jacket.
Oh.
Yes.
Rondo, what's up, man? Good to see you. Says, "Oh, snap. Justice in the house. He hooked me up with my double out snake eyes."
Yeah, I did. How you doing? Speaking of Crocmaster, can I digress and show? Can you put the attention on me again? Big picture.
Make it big, Chad. You know how to do it.
Make me big. You know how to do it, Chad. Edit that out.
That's what she said.
Check this out. Original one-of-a-kind art from Mark Pennington, who did the box art for G.I. Joe. I commissioned this piece from him, and I just told him I want the crocodile to be huge front and center. And this is all original, not a print, anything. He didn't even make any prints of it. sent that to me. So that's
Dude,
like one
that's
of my prized
amazing.
possessions.
It's nice to see another fellow Crocmaster fan out there.
Absolutely.
Love Crocmaster.
I loved him as a kid, man.
Yeah.
Pennington's rad. That art is rad.
Yes.
Still not the biggest Crocmaster fan, but you know, whatever.
That's to each their own.
Here's my connection to Crocmaster. I never really cared for, I don't want to say the character, because in the comics he was used sparingly enough and he had his purpose, right? But you know, as a figure that's going to be like one of my mainline play figures, no, not really. But Crocmaster is the first figure in my collection that my wife specifically posed to go on the shelf.
Oh wow, nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. So out of all these posed figures, the very first one she ever put her hand on was Crocmaster, and she put him in this rad pose with like his foot on Fiona's back and, you know, his whip up like that. And I was like, all right, you know how to pose a figure. Okay, cool. So yeah. When Mandy and I first, you know, became like a couple, and she was all about that stuff.
I'm gonna double down if I may. Okay, Justin, don't let me down here. What do you think of Big Boa?
I enjoy Big Boa. I mean, I like the boxing aspect to him, but I'm gonna stick my foot in my mouth. I wasn't huge. I didn't have the comics. I didn't have the TV show. All of my G.I. Joe, and this is really weird, all of my G.I. Joe knowledge and love was my imagination and having the toys as a kid, or my neighbor down the road having like a giant collection. And I had, you know, the Tomahawk, the Crimson Twins, Crocmaster, right, Duke, a few of them. So I had to really just create the storylines, and I didn't have Big Boa as a kid. So most of my information came from the little tiny pictures on the back of the file cards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have a connection to him. He's not my favorite, but he's not the worst character in my mind. Why is that?
No, I love him. Just Chad and I have a friendly back and forth. He hates. I think Boa's is most hated. But I go on about 87. I think 87 is the best year for Joe. It's got Falcon first and foremost, but that's kind of when you went from crazy to insanity as far as the villains go. You just got Crystal Ball and all these just wackos, right? And it's just so fantastic. Especially, you know, I was into comics too, so it fit right in.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah. Oh, we got some. Look who's wearing his suit coat.
Yes.
Wow.
About, buddy.
That's awesome.
A shameless plug. So if anybody's watching, they don't already follow me, Justin Cury, on YouTube or Facebook, primarily Facebook.
All your links are in the description. Yep.
But he has his own little channel. Mm-hmm. So if you have kids at home that like to watch, you know, ridiculous kid videos,
tell them to watch Justin Cury.
Just same name, Justin Cury on YouTube. I post links to his stuff occasionally, and he likes to follow in my crazy footsteps. So
awesome.
Thank you.
Maybe
very cool.
One of
very
my
cool.
awesome mods would be kind enough to go find that and throw it up in the chat. TNT Skate, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Rondo, good for being here as well.
It's rude to eat while we're talking.
No, you do your thing. It's fine. Ted Darklaw, all the way from Hella Dope Toys, TGIS. What's up, Ted? Says, hello, friends. I'm back. Still playing my card game and listening to cool dudes. Very cool. Thank you, my friend. Neil Temple says, time to make a good Joe film with the original 13 Joes.
Or a good Joe film in general. That Snake Eye, I don't even want to go into that.
I saw that movie twice.
Oh, stop. It's okay. You're allowed to be wrong.
No, I saw it once because somebody asked me to come on their channel and discuss it. And I was like, well, I guess I got to suffer through that. And then another time, the ma'am was curious and she started watching it. You know, like the way like casualty vampires can't look away from a train wreck.
Yes.
And so I was like, well, I guess I'll sit down with her and just, you know, do the MST3K thing and just rip on it. And she was like, this movie sucks so bad. Anyway, but I don't, you know, here's a conversational piece. Is G.I. Joe a property that's best suited by feature length live action movies, or should it be something like, a weekly TV show like The Unit or something like that, where you plug in, play kind of different members based on the operational environment? Do you think one movie would serve it justice?
I think if they did what Masters of the Universe is doing with Kevin Smith grabbing on the Masters of the Universe line and relaunching it on Netflix and making it appeal to both adults in that generation and to kids, that would be the best thing for G.I. Joe if they did that same playbook.
See, that leads into something else as well. Jay, what are your
I like the TV show idea. I would keep it animated.
Mm-hmm.
I totally would keep it animated since, like Justin said, He-Man, the new Transformers, keep it animated. And yeah, do like a TV show. I think that would be really cool. And just make it release every week so the nostalgia bone will kick in too, because we can only see it once a week. I think that will be great. Slow it down a bit, and then you can take time so Mainframe can have his episode and whoever else, instead of
Love with Zorana all over again. That's cool.
Yeah, instead of like cramming everybody trying to get 2 seconds of screen time, which never works in these ensemble cast movies.
Pardon me. I think that there were some missed opportunities with Resolute. Resolute was like I want to say it was 6 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it was. There were so many shorts, right? It was on Adult Swim, and it was so well received, and then they just did nothing with it. But I think any kind of Joe media, aside from the new comics, ever since the whole Dark Energon, and now it's getting a lot of traction because those comics are good. But the people at Hasbro, they don't want to co-finance any of their properties into films anymore. And I understand because they've had some bombs. But I don't think that Joe would be well served by live action, and also the people running the brand have clearly stated that they actually appreciate the fact that Joe doesn't have any designated media. So I don't see it happen. I wish it would, but I don't see it happen. Plus, there was that Snake Eyes Storm Shadow cartoon that was supposed to be a thing, but then the movie bombed and they scrapped it.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Well, so everything that we currently, not necessarily everything. So the Operation Blackout game, G.I. Joe Classified, the Snake Eyes movie were all supposed to launch together. They didn't launch together. They kind of fumbled a few things and had a few setbacks, especially with the Snake Eyes movie and the whole, worldwide pandemic deal. So Classified launched. It had a specific aesthetic. Then the movie came out and they had a little bit of a different aesthetic. Then the game came out. They kind of faltered a little bit on that. And then the cartoon was supposed to be the follow-up to the movie. About, remember at the end of the movie, if you watched it, Snake Eyes tears off on the motorcycle to go find Tommy and bring him home. And that's what the cartoon was going to be all about. It was going to be very like Japanese anime style. And then it didn't happen. So I don't know.
Gotcha.
But JLS Comics says ChatGPT told him that Lego is the most collected toy. Okay, yeah, I kind of mean more like boys action figures.
It's going to be Star Wars, like Jay said. I got a feeling it's too long of an era, and Star Wars is king.
But it was Joe in the mid 2000s. In the aughts, it was Joe.
Yeah.
So
maybe I mean that's the dark ages of Star Wars. It wasn't that popular.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's also the era though that Star Wars made every character, which I dug, and I know most of those characters. I agree with you, Justin. Most of them didn't sell, but I loved the one alien that goes across the screen for 2 seconds, right? Like I love that stuff. Yeah. And the 2000s, we got all of that great stuff.
Yeah. Brad Davenport says, G.I. Joe pops up as #1 on Google AI. Whatever.
Oh, wow.
I just know that in documentaries before, it has been stated that G.I. Joe is the most collected, maybe it was action figure line, like drilling it down.
Well, they're probably taking into account the 12-inch figures from our parents, the 60s and 70s.
Mm.
On the database. Who knows? I'm just throwing things out there.
I mean, I'm sure it's IP wide, because G.I. Joe was the original action figure from 64, but 86 was the biggest year of the IP, followed by 93. No years have touched those two at all. So I don't know. We'll see.
Mm.
Oh, I need 3 small engines for 2 wing ships. Oh, okay. Good to go.
Well,
there you go,
this
Justin.
would be a good. All right, hit me up on Facebook. This would be
I
maybe
will.
A segue to that photograph you were showing of the toy aisles. Speaking of the most, popular years versus.
Jeff W says now that Hasbro is licensing Joe out to more companies to make toys, which that's kind of their thing now, right? License it out. New comics coming out, etc. We just need a hit movie to reignite public interest, keep Joe relevant to younger collectors. And I kind of think that's where the cartoon comes in that Jay and Justin were talking about. I think.
But the problem with that is that the G.I. Joe of our generation was brand new. It was brand new characters, had nothing to do with G.I. Joe. That's never going to happen again because Hasbro won't let go of those characters for fear of not selling. When the whole basis of G.I. Joe was taking a chance. Each generation took a chance and reinvented itself, and then it stopped, right? Because nostalgia pays too well. So
as much as I don't like Extreme because of the whole history of how Extreme came about, and I'm not the biggest fan of Sigma 6. At least they did, I don't want to say something completely different because it was for the most part still the same characters. And I always show this guy, this G.I. Joe Extreme guy that looks like generic Terminator figure.
Terminator.
This is Sergeant Savage.
Wow.
That's supposed to be Sergeant Savage.
Weird.
Talk about an insult.
Jumping the shark, man.
That's pretty rough. It's not Justice anymore, though, right, Justin?
Justice still exists inside of me. That's one of my multiple personalities. I got about 6 floating in me any given time. So you can call me Justice, Justin, Tomato. It works.
Yeah. I like it. Jay, let me tell you why Hateful Eight is a Christmas movie.
Oh my goodness.
First of all, it snows.
Snow.
They mention Christ, and you can clearly see red and green.
That's about not the arguments, the discussions I've been going through on my channel. Every stream, people trying to convince me what's a Christmas movie. There was a Christmas tree in this movie. Oh, okay.
Are the Joe's Mega Block sets out yet? Yep, I got one.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, the Sky Striker and the Hiss.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me. This is an example of a boys action toy aisle in a Target.
Supply and demand, my friend. Supply and demand.
Okay. So K-Mac, what's up? Let's talk about that supply and demand. So what are we getting at there?
The demand for toys. I mean, who are you seeing in the toy aisle? Us's. This next generation. My little guy, he don't care about toys anymore. I mean, even though he has a dad that has a toy mecca in here, he never cared about it. And maybe it's because, my dad worked on engines and made me help him, and I didn't care about cars growing up, and he might be doing the same thing. But kids are more into the electronics and the ADHD, just clicking away at phones and stuff.
I've said it for a long time, Justin, that stuff like Fortnite skins, that's their toys, that's their action figures, right?
Yeah, that it is.
I'm gonna zoom in on this lonely.
Who is that lonely Cobra? Who is that?
You know who
with
that
Mindbender.
No, it's Raptor. Oh,
Raptor.
It looks like Robin. That looks like Dick Grayson. Come on, man.
Poor guy.
Raptor. One Raptor figure.
You need a Falconer and Cobra. Come
There's
on.
more Simpson shit than there is G.I. Joe.
Groundskeeper Willie and Raptor sitting alone on Christmas Eve. So sad. And whoever that Guardians is.
But I don't know if this is just you. My toy aisles don't look like this. And Meijer is a local grocery place. Targets and Walmarts, they're full. I don't really see this.
What's up, Shane? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, my Walmart doesn't look like this either. I don't frequent it much, but the last time I was in there a few months ago, it was full, but nothing stood out. There's nothing. Does that make sense? It was full, but there was nothing really great standing out.
Right.
Like the Joes, they had the classic card back. They had a bunch of Stalker and someone else, and then they had that new kind of 3.75-inch Star Wars that looks more cartoony. They had a bunch of those. Some awful, like Ahsoka and stuff like that, series figures kicking around. But that was about it. But it was fully stocked. I don't know if that's worse or not.
So, again, a lot of this conversation is going to be dependent on that individual results may vary. Because in Albuquerque, where I live, this is what every Target and Walmart looks like.
Weird.
They look like this before the holidays. They look like this now. At one end, when you first walk onto the boys action aisle or whatever you want to call it, actually, there's like some Transformers, but it's not even the good Transformers. It's like the crappy little 3-inch Transformers. And then there's some Legend stuff, some McFarlane stuff. But once you get near like most of the Hasbro stuff, it looks like this.
Yep.
And my Walmarts don't even have pegs. They'll have like one peg for like retro carded, and that's it. And the most you'll see is like the the peg warming gung ho or something.
Yep. And your stores, again, with going back to the supply and demand, they might be going, hey, these things are slow sellers. We're losing money on storage space for it. Why are we going to keep re-upping these orders? And I don't know the ins and outs between what they're required to carry through a chain, or if they have some creative control over how many they're ordering it. But just like Jay's saying, I'm seeing that same Acolyte, the peg warmers, the Motu Origins, all the junky figures that don't sell that just populate the shelves.
Yeah. Hey, for the record, Figure Fight Club said Snake Eyes was so good. It was so good.
Everyone does it. Now you can do it too. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut the hole in your face. Like that.
Yeah. I need an excuse to use that. I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
That's so good.
I like that.
Since we have Raptor up, Mother Slug put this question. I've been starring some questions related to our conversations. Question Joe fan to another Joe fan. That includes you too. Okay. Do you like the newer versions of Joe's being updated? Example, this Raptor new outfit compared to old.
I mean, how much time do we have?
I mean, we got time.
I feel like this is a question that you and I, in particular, Chad, have talked about for years now.
Years.
We'll let Justin go. I want to hear what Justin has to say. You guys know what Chad and I have to say about this, but
now,
Justin.
Now let me just preface it. Is he meaning the Raptor outfit compared to the vintage, or did they do another color scheme of Raptor for classifieds?
No, he means like these updated versus the Real American Hero vintage original.
Yeah. I mean, it all comes down to what sells. And sometimes they might go, hey, we need to make it a little more flashy, or the molding, or putting fabric cloths or whatever. They're always looking at their bottom dollar. So to have it exactly match the 87, this figure, they might go, it's not worth it. So they're going to make those creative tweaks to them. And I mean, the fact that they're producing, even to segue to old conversations, when people poo-poo the Star Wars movies, I'm like, at least it's something. So yeah, we can micromanage and kind of, well, it's not as good as it could be. Yeah, sure. But the fact that they're making them and putting them out on store shelves, this is awesome. I'm happy. So I don't know.
Me personally, first of all, I don't own Raptor whatsoever. I don't like Raptor. I'm not a completionist. I pick and choose what I like, what speaks to me, what I enjoy. If I don't want it, I won't get it. I don't have the Dino Hunter set with the squeaky toy dinosaur. It's not a matter of money. I just don't want it. You know, I already have the Desert Fox 6x6. I don't need that repainted to come with a chew toy. So a lot of this stuff, it's just either academic to me or I see it like a widget, like a doorstop. It's just there. You know what I mean? If people like it, I'm like, hey man, that's cool. Like I will always throw out a, hey, that's cool, because that shit is free. Like I can support what other people like. Doesn't mean I'm going to buy it.
Fair point.
I mean, that's just my opinion on it.
And it might not be sentimental. So if that you open that on Christmas Day, Raptor would be important because it would be part of your childhood. Just like Jay and I have a connection to Crocmaster because back when, you know, he was a kid, he probably, you know, the memories associated. Same with me. You know, I love lizards. I love reptiles. Crocmaster was important. Whereas Raptor, I could care. I never owned them. I didn't care about them.
Can you bring the last question up again, Chad?
Yeah, let me go find it.
Oh, okay. I'll
find it.
Yeah, because I think, I just wanted to add to that.
Right there.
Mother Slug, thank you. So new Raptor outfit compared to the old. So I'll give you my take on what you're saying there. So when Classified first showed in 2020, I was all for it because the designs were different enough. Duke had, you know, shin guards and he had a little shoulder pauldron and all that kind of stuff. I liked that because it was different from the 84 Duke. I didn't want the 84 Duke again. I wanted to see these characters a little bit older, a little bit more gritty, a little bit different. Some time has passed. So I was all for that. Obviously, the majority of the Joe fans weren't, as we saw the shift in the design of them. So I would be happy if Raptor looked completely different. I'm fine. I'm all for that. That's where I wanted to see the line go and have a wave of 5 characters and maybe sprinkle in one new character from the Hama comic book of 2011 or not. Just make a new, write a new character and just put him out. Like I would be happy with that, but that's not what we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and here's another one of the kind of unspoken challenges with G.I. Joe in current day climates. And I know that, Jay, you've played Wrath of Cobra. Justin, have you played the Wrath of Cobra, the side-scrolling game?
No, I want to. What's it on?
It's on every system and PC.
I gotta write that down.
Yeah, G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra. It's good. Like side-scrolling, sprite-based. It's just a beat-em-up.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like the old Turtles game, the Turtles arcade game.
So we're talking about, bringing back some kind of G.I. Joe media. The intro alone to that game, I would watch an animated series that looked like that felt like that had that like pacing and like weight to the explosions. They nailed the intro of that game.
Yeah. The song's different too, which is great.
Yeah, it
you
is.
Redid the song.
Very updated. But the point that I'm getting at is in that intro, they do say G.I. Joe, daring, highly, trained special mission force, but they say Cobra, a ruthless criminal organization determined to rule the world. They're moving away from that T word, right?
Oh.
20 some odd years ago, that word became very close to home. And when your chief antagonist is a terrorist organization, it's kind of a harder sell these days. So I understand why they're kind of re-spinning Cobra. But if you tried to go OG with it, I think a massive terrorist network, some people they kind of recoil from that a little bit. Just a thought.
You mean words change over time? What are you talking about?
Words hurt. So since we're on the subject, Lou says, I don't really think live action was ever the way to go with G.I. Joe. Animated works so much better. There you go. I love Resolute. I can watch Resolute over and over and over. It's like Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It's just that good. I could just watch it all the time. Keys Collect says something ongoing would be ideal. That's what you were saying, right, Jay?
Yeah, I would like that. Then you can take your time and develop the characters. Just like make it like the comic book.
Medieval Alchemist wants to know how I saw the Snake Eyes movie twice and lived. Here's your answer.
It's science, people! Science!
I used to like bust one of those out. And then Steve Cherney says he's here for the dollies.
Heck yeah.
Well, we'll just keep showing you dollies. Let's just keep.
We got dollies. We got dollies galore.
Who wins? Who wins?
All them dollies, yo. Robert's Infinite Realm says, I think Joe should be a TV show, just my opinion. Okay. And then Rhett says TV show sounds intriguing. Chris from Cutthroat Comics, who had Alex Sanchez on his live stream over there on Cutthroat Comics last night. That was a good show. Says weekly TV show in my book. And then Ian Sweeney, Jay, you want to read this? I got to grab some.
G.I. Joe is best suited to one or more kids of any age and a selection of toys, best adventures created ever. Yeah, and to take that further, when you have file cards written by Hama like 5,000 years ago, how can you constantly screw up the movies and get the origin stories incorrect? Especially from your main character, Snake Eyes.
G.I. Jesus.
Like, how do you mess that up, man? It's all wrote for you right there. It's all right there for you.
Yeah.
I would take parts of a couple of issues. It'd be like parts of 26, parts of 27. The very beginning of issue 21 would be like the cliffhanger ending, you know, where he hits the frickin' button to drop the ramp on the C-130 to jump out. Yeah, it would just be a couple parts. Like, that's it. And then you got Timber, you got Stalker, you got Colonel Hawk. This is all pre-Duke stuff, right? You're talking like way earlier. But it wouldn't be that hard. And then Jesse from JLS Comics says live action only if we get Lobotomax.
Yes.
The Lunartix Empire. You want some of that? You want some of that business?
Nice.
I don't know if I could get down with that, but yeah, that's kind of the answers we got there so far. I'm not trying to actually, but the reason Resolute wasn't continued was because Mark Millar didn't want to continue with it and went back to writing comic books.
I didn't know
There you
that.
go. There you go. Thanks, Matt.
And nobody that worked alongside Mark said, you know, ratings are really good for this. It's really selling. We should like at least sell it to someone else. Nah.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
away.
You know, that's fair. Thank you, Matt Rubin. None of us are experts. Even the guys who worked on the line aren't experts. Half of them forgot most of the shit they did. Medieval Alchemist says Resolute could have been a jump on point for a good series. They did leave it open. They did. Yeah. Storm Shadow's grave was empty. Johnny from Simple Tricks and Nonsense. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. Says Chad's Special Missions TV show idea is dead on. Have an overarching story, but the season is made up of episodes with different Joes battling Cobra around the world. 100%. Do it just like the unit. The only main characters are like Hawk, Scarlet, right? Because Scarlet's operations, Hawk's the commander, Stalker, and then like Breaker, you know, because Breaker's Camo or whatever. And then everybody else, it's like, oh, we got to go to the jungle. Bam, there's Rakondo. Maybe, you know, Chuck and Airborne or something. I don't know. And then, we got to go to the tundra. Bam, there's Snow Job.
Wouldn't it be cool to see Joe stories that didn't always involve Cobra Commander and Destro?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would really like to see that.
Duke.
Yeah.
Duke's the first sergeant. I don't know if any of you guys or anybody in the chat knows what a first sergeant does, but like That's not what a first sergeant does. That's not. They sit in their office. You know.
I was gonna say, are they desk bound? Are they?
They're kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the senior enlisted official in your unit. They work with the commander, right? But
right.
Everything is the commander's program. Retention, training, the mission, all that. The first sergeant's the guy who goes around and goes, "Hey, did you guys get chow? Hey, did you guys do this?" A first sergeant's job is coordinate chow. And if you're operational, meaning in a battlefield environment, it's bullets, beans, band-aids, and your casualty collection point. That's a first sergeant's job. Did you ever see Duke running around in the cartoon going, "Hey, do you guys need ammo? Do you need MREs? No? Okay, bye." You don't see Duke doing that. Like, first sergeants don't have the biggest combat roles. They don't. When you go from being like a team leader, a squad leader, a section leader, a platoon sergeant, as a non-commissioned officer in combat arms, you start to feel the weight of like, you're going to be removed from the soldiers pretty soon. You're going to get ranked out of being a soldier's soldier. And whereas I love Duke as a character, and G.I. Joe never really operated like that, because you have E4s flying airplanes, and that's not a thing. It's just that's not a first sergeant's job. So
I'm more interested in Simple Tricks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He just moved it. His little thumbnail picture was a critter, but I don't recognize what that's from. Simple Tricks.
I think that's one of the critters that he and his wife Newt made, because they made critters costumes. Yeah, Johnny, if you're still here, throw it in the chat. But they made critters costumes for a con.
Oh, that's awesome, man!
Dude,
Critters,
Justin, I'm telling
nightmares.
you, if you have never checked out Simple Tricks and Nonsense, go look at their social media. He made a Manny Faces costume with a bucket, and you could turn the faces.
So cool.
Oh yeah, and his merman is freaking spot on, down to that corncob sword that you love so much, Jay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then Mother Slug said, "Today's animation is garbage looking. It's truly sad. Those old 70s, 80s animation style is a dead art. Nobody nowadays knows how to do it."
I mean, the only one that I'm gonna go back to Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelation. I like it. I mean, it's not the bubbly cell animation. I mean, it's hard to recreate what we're nostalgic for.
The cell animation, yeah.
I like it. I dig it.
But the intro to Wrath of Cobra, I like that style. You know, I like the way they made it look. That's just me. Oh, yeah, Matthew Matson dropping this bomb. Do you guys remember the Lady J TV show on Amazon?
No.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a thing. Yeah.
See, it makes no sense. You can't even get... It's like what goes on with poor DC in their cinematic universe. It's like you can't even get the core properties right. Like, don't worry about a Lady J spinoff as much as we all like Lady J. Let's worry about getting the franchise off the ground first, and then we can start splitting hairs, you know?
Or do a Baroness spinoff. That'd be more freaking marketable.
Yeah. George Aiken says it was a TV series. There would be a danger it would turn into a Street Fighter series with a random character fighting another one in a different country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny also says, my idea is Dice's Battlefield 2042 reskinned as a G.I. Joe game. That's another thing. They put a couple of Joe skins in Fortnite, which, Jay, I guess we're still waiting for Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes, I'll let you know. Don't worry.
Let me know. But you look at games like Call of Duty, you know, specifically Warzone and all their online stuff, and gamers and YouTubers have skins. That's a kind of game that's really, I think, kind of opened up to having some Joe skins.
It's the problem is the problem starts with Hasbro. G.I. Joe is not marketed at a new generation. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. Does everyone our age play Call of Duty and Fortnite? Some do, some don't. I don't know. But I know that it's not focused on us anymore. are older, we're late 40s, getting into our 50s, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So does it make sense? I'm with you. I would love to see a G.I. Joe Battlefront style game. Think of the possibilities, the vehicles, the DLC. If you're listening, Activision, cha-ching. There's so many vehicles you can charge us for. I'll buy them.
Yeah.
How rad would that be if you parachute into Warzone? That's my parachuting, right? If you parachute into Warzone and you land and you do your little stupid tumble and a freaking hiss just runs over you. I'd be all for that.
Yeah, and you get to like Star Brigade your own character, right? You get to make your own guy. Like you don't get to be Zap or Duke or anyone. It's like, nope, you got to make your own character. That would be so cool, man. I'd be down for that.
Me too.
Absolutely.
This is a good point. I did make a video on this. The Snake Eyes game, a la Batman Arkham. Yeah, because they were making a Snake Eyes game. The people who made Arkham Asylum were making a Snake Eyes game. Could get some traction going, potential TV movie spinoff. True. That's true. That game is still happening. There's a guy in the chat who worked on that game.
That's cool.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
I don't understand why it's so difficult for Hollywood to understand, man. Like, especially with Snake Eyes, when you completely change the origin of the character in every way possible, it's no longer Snake Eyes. I don't know why this is so difficult. Oh, it didn't do well, really? That's like Spider-Man. If he never got bit by a spider, he got bit by a lizard.
He got bit by
well, they already made Lizard Man. I don't know, some other animal.
Yeah, and the biggest thing wasn't that it was Henry Golding. It wasn't that he talked for the majority of the movie, because you could have jacked him up at the end. You could have blown, part of his face off, and then he could have gone mute or whatever. It's the fact that, like, he's not a fish out of water. He's not the blonde-haired, blue-eyed American trying to blend in this culture who does better than someone who is the heir to the Arashikage clan, which creates their divide. It's not that. It's just like, yeah, he's just another Asian dude.
Yeah.
You're like, you removed half of that, that deep character arc, but whatever. Same Time Toys, to answer your question, 1964. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Actually.
Hold on. I'm not even going to do it.
Put your glasses on. The window's gone. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
1964, baby. Raj says, Jay, I'm loving your little Mario action figure on your desk.
This guy is from 1988, Raj, from my mom. This has been in front of my gaming TV, my console gaming TVs, since I was a kid. Yeah, it's a old school Nintendo.
Nice. Very cool.
I got the same one chilling somewhere.
You got the same one? Aren't those rad, dude?
I thought it was going to be funny if I held it up, but of course I got so much stuff I can't even remember.
This guy, too.
See, that's the challenge.
Yes.
Well, look at the stash on that. I can grow a
mustache. That's awesome.
This is from 89, this doll.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's me.
He's my favorite video game toy. He's a doll, whatever.
Yeah.
And look, he's got a butt. He's got a butt in the front. It's so cute.
Oh, he's got front butt. Nice.
Yeah.
And that's, Big M says Transformers is ahead of G.I. Joe and Star Wars, but that's if you consider them action figures. There you
go. Sorry, Transformers is ahead of G.I. Joe and Star Wars. Of course, Transformers are action figures, 100%.
I just want to piggyback on Jay's Mario. I wanted to show this. I don't think I've ever shown it before.
Whoa.
These are hand sculpted Mario, old Mario, and old Luigi.
Oh my God, those are so wicked.
Isn't that crazy?
That's so.
I know,
dude. I love it.
They're cool, but they're kind of sad at the same time. You got the dead little mushrooms.
I know.
It's funky.
I like it.
Someone's art expression.
I like it. Very cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to find more stuff. Oh, Justin, you just mentioned something. You said you have the same Mario that Jay does, but you couldn't find it. Aside from space, right? Space is always our biggest enemy. It's not exclusives or bad distribution. It's space. Space is always the problem. But then there's also the challenge of, I know I have that, but I don't know where it is.
Yes.
Jay, do you run into that?
Yeah, I gotta say, I've watched a ton of Justin's stuff. The dude, he's got stuff on his ceiling, man. Like that's
all his
crazy town.
translucent figures.
Look at that! Look at that!
Yeah.
That I've never seen. That's like the coolest.
And people would come over and be like, "That's $1,000 Sunman that you have hanging on your ceiling." I'm like, "Well, when I bought it, it was probably
So
only
good.
worth, $100, and it just went up in price, and I forgot it was up there."
35 years later, Raptor still sucks. So yeah, you're not wrong.
I like Johnny. Johnny's my dude.
But the
Raptor
talk
sucks.
about the space issue. Now I buy and sell collections constantly.
Yep.
Shameless plug: if you're ever looking to sell a toy collection or part of a collection, contact me. I've been all over Canada, all over the U.S. I buy collections to finance my own collecting, and now that I've retired, it's kind of been my full-time job, hustle toys.
And you got that good new building on your property.
Yes, and I got a new shed so I can put all my wife's garbage and keepsakes and Christmas stuff in there so that I can fill up the storage area with my inventory and collection. But a common issue that I come across with fellow toy collectors is space, because the retail therapy, space, buy.
Yeah.
And then oftentimes I'll go to a house and it's just filled floor to ceiling, garage, every which way with totes of toys. And it's a common thing I hear all the time. I don't even know what I have. And they're cracking open totes.
Yeah.
And they're going, I haven't opened this tote in 15 years or 20 years. And a life hack that or discipline that I told myself early on in my toy collecting, journey is, if I can't display it, I'm not owning it just to own it. Because if I do that, I will freaking slide into the hoarder territory. And if if you at home watching are struggling with that, no judgment from me. It's something that we're always battling. But for me to bring in a new toy to my collection, oftentimes I got to get rid of something, or it leaks into the other areas of my house, or I got to sell it. And that's hence why I've had to go to my ceiling. It's jam-packed.
Judge Dreads and our good friends at Kanan have rolled in. Of course, this is probably like 40 minutes ago, because that's how I roll, kids. That's just how it is. Here's a question, and I'm going to throw this to you two guys. You can only choose one: Masters or Thundercats?
Masters.
Thundercats. That's easy for both of us. It seems like boom, boom.
But it's subjective. Like Masters was ingrained in me like that, because people always ask me, what's your favorite toy line? And it's like picking your favorite kid. I can't be like, I like this kid more than I like my other child.
Yeah.
Oh, I can all day to both. G.I. Joe and my daughter, done and done. Let's go.
Right.
On.
But I got Masters Universe, G.I. Joe, and Muscle Men. Those are my three most
Muscle Men. Yeah, you're
sentimental. And I can't tell you which one I like the most, because I like them equally.
So if I had to choose one, it would be Masters of the Universe. However, Masters of the Universe was something that I dabbled in, kind of between that Empire Strikes Back and G.I. Joe. And when G.I. Joe hit, I still had other toy lines, Mask, the Star Wars Jedi stuff, where everybody had a stick. But Masters was just gone after that. Gone. 100% gone. Yep. Mm-hmm. I had something else. Oh, our good friend Vishay Connolly sends a $2 super chat. Thank you,
Nice.
Vishay. And says, sorry I'm late. I love you guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Oh. How sweet. Does this look like a request?
What does that mean?
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Chad, why are you so insensitive?
What the heck is that?
It's Scuba Pete.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's one of Scuba's Halloween costumes. On Halloween, we had a big stream and we were all changing costumes. And that was his second costume. His first one, he was wearing one of the old school 80s Halloween costumes, and he had that makeup on underneath it.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, this is our good friend Shilly.
Chad, why are you so insensitive?
But since George Aiken brought it up, that's it. I had to show it.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, let me get rid of some of these starred comments. Here's something else that we could chitty chat about. Jay, do you remember like a year and a half, 2 years ago? I talked about the Sergeant Cup Triple T Transformers Joe crossover.
I do. You tend to have some really, really good insider information.
Yeah, I got
really
a guy.
do.
But you remember like 5 minutes after that how I said that there was going to be an Optimus Prime Mobat?
Yep.
Well, that's crazy because this is the list of collaborative Transformers that will be out for this year, 2025.
Gosh, that's
First on the
awesome.
list, Mobat Optimus Prime with Hawk.
Yeah.
So I can't say if it's General Hawk or Colonel Hawk, but I'm leaning. So I was never given an answer. I was just told Hawk. I'm leaning towards General, right? Because General Hawk's probably the most widely known iteration of him.
It will be General Hawk for sure.
Yep.
Do you see what's right under Mobat Optimus Prime?
Vamp Hound.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that'll be sweet.
Pericles, what's up, man? Good to see you. So the Vamp Hound thing, you guys remember? I hate saying that like twice in a row. What was that, like 2 years ago? And Hasbro Pulse had a stream and they put up the retro 1/18 scale Cobra Stinger for sale, and no one knew that was coming.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
A vague memory. Yeah.
Okay. So they were doing their usual, like they do with the classified, where it's like name drop, render,
Yes.
pre-order, name drop, render,
Right.
pre-order. But then they were like, oh, and we've got this. And it was that retro 1/18 scale Stinger. Same thing with this Vamp Hound. No one knew that was coming. They literally just threw it on this list.
Oh.
I wasn't
Very
tracking
cool.
this. I was tracking Sergeant Cup Triple T, Mobat Optimus Prime, and the Titan size offering that's coming. Rumored to be Jetfire, Sky Striker. But the Vamp Hound thing just out of nowhere. I don't know if you guys want to touch on this stuff. Justin, do you get down with any of the Transformer Joe crossover stuff?
Not really. Again, it's space. Like I have a shelf of Transformers that are sentimental to me, but if I have to get more, I mean, where do I put them? So but what is this? We'll go back to it in a second. What is this Motu collab? Does that mean G.I. Joe and Motu collab or something different?
It's funny you asked because I had that picture ready.
Ooh,
So this is
I'm
from our good
excited.
friends at Toy Habits, Michael and the Toy Sorceress. But there you go. Take a look at those.
Come on. Is this for sure or possibility or
No, that's happening. Yeah.
dude?
Again, let me back up. So this is the list of absolutely 100% locked in all the Transformer collabs that are coming this year.
Oh my gosh.
I can't speak to most of this. I can't speak to Batman. The Transformers Macros crossover. Everyone who saw that immediately thought Jetfire. It's not. It's a Fire Kai. They've shown it already. You can see it. It's not Jetfire. So it's not the Jetfire Valkyrie. Yeah, Mandrake. I I don't know, Project Bear. Somebody was like, is it the Polar Battle Bear? I was like, I don't think so. So, yeah. But let me go back to that picture for you. Yeah.
I'm digging that. I mean, for some reason, like I like the paint schemes on these, so they'll stand out more than the G.I. Joe crossovers to me. I don't know. It's because if you open up the G.I. Joe crossover Transformers and you have them displayed like this, someone might scratch their head and go, what is that? But this is iconic. Look at that.
Here's my personal opinion. Look at Starscream, dude. Stinkor.
I like the
or
sound
some kind of seeker as Stinkor. What's up, Tyler? Good to see you. I wasn't sure when I first heard about this, and there's a lot more weird Mattel Hasbro collabs coming. A lot. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle G.I. Joe. Quote me on that. But
whoa.
Skeletor Megatron with his Havoc staff in the gun. That's pretty rad. And look at that freaking Soundwave trap jaw. I would get that.
Yes.
For some reason, those colors and the fact that it's still kind of Soundwave's head, but with the metal jaw, I'm down with that.
I like it. I can't wait to see the packaging art. Like I have the Ghostbuster Transformer crossover. I like crossovers, and it's smart for them to do that because they can get two toy genres and grab onto collectors from both. Whereas, maybe I only have 5% of Transformers in my collection, but I got 50% of He-Man. Now I got to buy it. So it's very smart on their marketing, and it appeals to me.
Jay, what do you think?
That's a good question. I've never been a fan of crossover stuff.
Look at Panther.
I'm just looking at it as these corporations saying, "How can I get more money out of Gen X?" And I don't mean to be cynical. Okay, I really am not trying to be, but that's just what I see. How can I get them to buy Transformers again? How can I get them to buy He-Man again? It doesn't do anything for me personally. That's just the way I see it. But I love He-Man. I love Transformers. Show me new stuff. Stop feeding me the same old stuff over and over again.
And I totally get that. It is a cash grab from a marketing standpoint, but it taps into me where I had a huge love of Masters of the Universe as well as Ninja Turtles before I got heavy into video games. Like Ninja Turtles was my last toy love before video games took over. But Casey Jones, when they combined Masters of the Universe with Turtles, I like it. And I'm not a completist where I had to get all of them. I'm only going to get, the 4 Turtles and Casey and some of those exclusive ones that just appeal to me. But I like it. I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, I think most importantly, like, if you like it, that's all that matters, right? Like, I will never poo-poo on anyone's parade. It's just my thoughts, right?
Aside from my dog licking my ear, look at this super chat from Ryan. So
These
our
are
good
bad.
friend Laser Pants Ryan,
if you like them.
3POA sends a $5 super chat and said, "These are bad. You should be bad."
Oh, I have so many things I want to say, but I don't want to get your channel in trouble.
You're not going to get
my humor's not for everybody.
No, and Ryan. A, he loves his opinions. B, he's like 50% of smartass. But I mean, there you go.
Funny.
Yeah, I love it.
Enemies. You're my new nemesis.
If you like these, we're enemies forever.
Enemies forever.
I gotta see them, but something about Panther, I think, fits, and Trapjaw Soundwave, those colors, man. They
fits what though? I guess I'm looking at it from maybe 80s eyes, right? Where I'm a kid and trying to see the future of this line and see where it's going. Like, I guess
I'm just saying Panther and Ravage, that's a fit. It doesn't even look like Panther. It just looks like Ravage.
I mean, yeah.
Battle Cat, I love Battle Cat. I have to get any rendition of him. So, I love the paint schemes. And to go back to like the crossover of Transformers with G.I. Joe, when you take the Vamp or the All Striker, because that's one of the crossover Transformers, and you turn them in, you can't tell that it's All Striker. You just go, what? But these are more colorful and distinctive colors where you can obviously tell the crossover.
So real quick, everybody that's coming into the chat and saying hi, like I am throwing up your, hi or Happy New Year, or I'm throwing all that up. So I hope you're all looking at the screen. I'm not ignoring you. That's why I'm so behind on the chat. The thing I think that we all need to always come back around to with any Transformer crossover thing, it has to work in its alt mode with whatever the other property is. And that's where, say, like, and I always pull it out because it's right next to me, but the Soundwave Thunder Machine or the Thunder Wave.
That's cool.
Thank you, dog. It doesn't really matter what it looks like in bot mode, even though, yeah, he does have the ejecting tape deck on his chest and Soundwave's head. It matters what they look like in alt mode and how they interact with the 1/18 scale Joes. That's all that matters. So, yeah, I need to see what their alt modes are for these, especially because Soundwave already looks like Trapjaw. Is he going to turn into a cassette deck? Because this Soundwave doesn't turn into a cassette deck; it turns into the Thunder Machine. So everything's gonna transform into money for Hasbro and Mattel. That's what here.
Okay, why can I not picture Man at Arms? Like, who is that? What Transformers Man at Arms? I can't picture.
I don't know.
Hound? No, Ratchet.
Oh,
it looks like Ratchet. Look at his chest. I'm gonna say Ratchet.
Let's ask Matt. Matt will know. Matt, who's Man at Arms? Like, I can't.
Matt Tracker, you are wanted in the chat.
I can't. I got everyone else. I just can't figure out Man at Arms.
Man, I am.
Oh, Ironhide. Or there you go. Pericles got it. Yeah.
Ironhide? No.
Ironhide.
Is that the front?
Freaking Ironhide. Keith from KB Jotographs, a good buddy, says, "Let me snag that trap wave, yo."
Yeah.
I was looking for Matt. I was looking for the windshield. That's the windshield face. That's my Ironhide.
And then Moonlight says, hot take, curious about the NFL one the most, if they'll do all the teams and how the distribution will work. Prepare for it to be kind of a shit show. I don't know.
And what are these going to cost? And I hate to be the guy who always brings up,
I don't know,
$39.
But that's one reason I backed out of the new stuff last year, was because it was too much money for me, to be quite honest. So what are these going to cost?
Oh, stink scream.
Probably close to $40 until you find them at Ross discount.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of discount, Jay, you want to see what my mother-in-law sent me for Christmas?
Do I ever?
Take a wild guess what my mother-in-law sent me for Christmas. It's Joe.
Classified. Oh, that's nice, man.
Nice.
Are you saying I could expect a Night Force Falcon in the mail soon?
I'm just saying, like, the sentiment was nice. It was a nice sentiment, but when the ma'am opened the box, of course, like the laughter just erupted. Right?
Oh, don't be like that. Stop it. You stop it right now. Are you going to your room?
But one thing we did point out, why do they all look like they're wearing football pads all the time?
They're not wearing hockey pads.
I'm not wearing hockey pads. Dr. Fishy, no. But yeah, anyway,
that's nice of her. What is Transformers and Sonic? Is that actually Sonic the Hedgehog? Or what is that?
I'm going to say yes.
Fast food place.
Yeah, the food.
You get some cheddar peppers and a
Transformers and Sonic the Hedgehog. Come on,
chili cheese coney. Look,
stop it.
Here's the freaking question of the day. No, he will not. He'll never transform into a gun again.
What's up, Packers? What's this? What's the story here? What's the story? I don't help me.
There isn't.
There isn't a story.
No
Because
story.
Turtles of Grayskull, did that have a story?
Yeah, look at back on Earth. Casey Jones fights
he's not,
baddies
wasn't
as
it?
hockey masked vigilante using whatever sports gear he can fit in the bag. Now he's in Eternia. He loads up on Castle Grayskull's best battle equipment to join the fight against Krang and Skeletor. So they'll create some kind of their essence was infused with the Transformers.
Oh, He-Man's flesh was brutally ripped from his body.
Now he's a robot. My robot.
Now he's a robot for sure.
I don't know. Yeah, but I'm telling you, at the risk of earning the ire of Laser Pants, who I love, by the way. If I see that freaking trap jaw, I'm gonna get it.
Yep.
Get it.
Yep.
Skeletron. Oh wait, I got a thing for that. Let me find it.
Okay, what if these are the molds from War for Cybertron and they just color them differently and then stick on the heads of whatever guy they are?
Oh, absolutely. They're gonna keep the molds. They don't want to retool all those $50,000 each tools or whatever it costs. Way more than that.
Slate on Slate says, bruh, these are shit. Hey, right? It's all about opinions.
Exactly.
I don't know. And why does Stink Scream? I think KB Jodograph said that. Whoever said that. Why does he have a shield? Did Stinkor have a shield?
Yes.
He did?
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's why he has the shield.
In fact, if I remember, well, Justin will know more than I will, but I don't think Stinkor had a weapon. I think he had a shield.
Just the shield.
Yeah.
Well, now he has arm cannons, thank you, because he's a seeker, actually.
And what a disrespect to Starscream. He gets that's like making fun of him. Come on, man. You don't like the mashups either? There you go. There you go.
Oh, our good friend Scott Hughes. It's like they can't think of anything new.
Thank you.
I will say, I know the Classified tried. They did the mole rats and different head sculpts for the mole rats. I know they did that wolf spider Parth Varma. That mole rats, I'll give it to them. The Parth Varma thing is Beachhead version 3. I don't, we could argue that all day, but come fight me, it's fine. Is he supposed to be Bumblebee?
No, that's Gears.
Is that Gears?
He's a GoBot.
He's a go-bit.
That's Gears. Gears and Ram Man. That'll be a Ross special. I'm just telling you that.
And it will be. You're calling it now. No one wants
More
Ram.
Gears, man.
Did you say nobody wants go-bits?
No, I said no one wants Ram Man.
Oh yeah.
And nobody wants Gears. So there you go.
But I do like my go-bits. I'll take that.
That's right.
Bumblecat. Yeah, that's right. Bumblebee.
Yep.
Listen, I'll say this. I think it's a cool, like if someone was to draw this, I think it's a cool idea. Hey, what would happen if Prime was, He-Man? I think it's cool. But for a toy line, I think it's completely unoriginal. And I think it's just more way for them to get giant amounts of money out of us.
Yeah. David, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Yeah, I know it's a little weird, but see, Menjosa says Battle Bee, but somebody else asked if that was Cliff Jumper, Master Temple. Yeah, and then Jeff says Cliff Cat, Battle Bee. I don't know. What's next? Prince Adam is a Prius.
Wait, that'll be the Comic-Con exclusive.
Oh. I bet you I have a thing for that. Do I have a thing for that? I do.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah. I do.
You know what? You were talking about you have Justin, you were saying you have Gigawatt, right? The DeLorean.
Yes.
See, I think that's totally fine. That's like a new character. I don't mind stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think when you're just mashing two, I remember that guy. You know what I mean? When you're putting two of those together. Hey, TJ's with me. There you go.
Yeah, TJ's with you, dude. It's all good.
Again, guys, if it makes
Man
you
at arms.
it's all good.
But I mean, they're running out of ideas. Think of all the different renditions of Masters of the Universe in the last 15 years. Just keeps pumping out different scales, different versions. So they're trying to reinvent the wheel constantly. And I guess this is a natural progression. They're going to save money on the molds, which they already own, and they just have to freaking change the paint and then the head sculpts, and voila, and a few different accessories. Yeah, they're going to milk the cash cow and get both collectors from both genres to kind of be in. And it's not going to be every cup of tea, but I'm sure they did the focus groups to figure out, hey, are we going to make money? Yeah, we're going to make money. Are some of them going to suck and end up at the discount store? Sure. But
Those
there's going
focus
to be
groups
out there buying them.
Those focus groups are nightmares. I want to say hi to Packers real quick. Good to see you, man. I guess my question is, outside of what we see here in these renders and what we're looking at on this list, is that really what we have to look forward to as people who love these properties and collect the toys of these properties? It's just going to be that mashup, like Mattel Hasbro crossover thing. Is that like the new thing now?
Well, yeah, Hasbro's licensing out everything. They're not making the cash they used to. That's like, dude, I know so many big collectors that have stopped collecting new stuff over the last few years, right? So they have to be hurting, right? So I'm sure others see. Like, I don't know what happened to the Origins line. I think that line was fabulous. Yeah. I think originally when it came out, the price point was right. They reinvented the original figures just enough to make it different. They were affordable. I don't know why they just didn't continue. Like, they were going the right direction, in my opinion, with Sunman and all that stuff. I think that was great. Let's do all this stuff. And it just stopped. And then they're like, oh, let's do the Filmation cartoon again. It's like, oh, here we go. Back to square one again.
Yeah. So Matt Rubin and Suka both say Transformers Sonic is a 2-pack of Sonic and Tails as Transformers. And
who wants
photos
that?
Are out there of the Sonic collab.
That's like making a Mario Optimus Prime. Who wants that? Come on, man. Stop it. Get some help. You need that Michael Jordan one.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Ryan says someone's going to transform into the Roton.
Yeah.
I don't know. Moonlight says, if only that Skeletor could turn into a Robo Skull.
Ooh.
That would be huge. And then apparently I'm being told I'm not allowed to buy this Soundwave. I might do it. I don't know.
Do it.
Here you go. TK Storm with the double slap. We need a Hooded Cobra Commander crossover gun mode Megatron.
Oh. You know what I've been seeing for the past 5 years on eBay, when I'm randomly looking up things, someone has been producing custom Optimus Prime, G.I. Joe, and Masters of the Universe crossovers, including the box art itself, which can look pretty darn cool.
Yeah, I've seen the third-party Optimus Prime Rolling Thunder. That thing is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And when they announced that Prime was going to be a Transformer Joe crossover collab or whatever, I was really hoping he was going to be either the Rolling Thunder or the APC. But then when I got the word it was Mobat, and I started really looking at my Mobat, I was like, I could see the main gun being his, signature gun. So yeah, I guess I get it.
Yeah.
Guess I get it. JDK69er says the Skeletor is a G1 Megatron body. I'm pretty sure they will not transform either. Ooh.
Like all of them or just Megatron?
Well, I mean, that red line did terrible, so I don't think that's such a smart idea for them to do that.
Oh, yeah, the red stuff.
The red line where they looked cartoon accurate, but they didn't transform, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Those statues.
Yeah.
But again, right? So JDK69er brings up a point that I was already talking about. What are they going to transform into? Planes and trucks
that have the same color schemes as what we're seing.
Well, obviously,
what does that have to do with Masters, though? It has to be some kind of interaction, the alt mode, everything else. Like, look at Gigawatt, look at the Ecto 1, even though it's not called that. I know it's something Tron, Ectotron, right?
Actually,
thank you.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Going
Like,
to get it.
This doesn't make sense. Like, they couldn't even, like, I mean, we're jumping the gun here. I think we're just prejudging here, but it doesn't even make sense. Like, are they on Earth? Where are they?
I mean, they're doing the same thing.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
there he is.
And I mean, they got cool packaging art, which I'm sure they'll do the same thing for the Masters of the Universe. They got a little story back here, which I've never read, but same look and feel. And same with the Gigawatt one from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
I don't know. This must have sold well enough for them to venture down this road.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, the chat seems to be kind of. It was all for it. Now it's like, it looks like good 50% or not too sure. I'm with you guys. I want to see one for sure. I want to check it out, but
Kaiju Kitty says Evil Lynn would have been a better choice for Starscream. I don't know. I mean, Evil Lynn is more popular than Stinkor, just as Starscream is a very popular transformer.
But she was also always trying to backstab Skeletor, right? So it's the same character. Yeah.
And the colors would be a little odd. Maybe they needed more distinct colors, because Evil Lynn's colors are pretty similar to Skeletor's, and it would have been confusing.
I don't know. And, you know, Matt Rubin even said a lot of this just seems like it's fan-made, but I don't know. Like, Toy Habits posted it. And, I mean, they are happening, so that is the thing. I mean, if we just get away from the image and not really, you know, get wrapped up around the axle by that. But, yeah, I mean, all that is coming this year, for sure. Zakanan says, Chad's trigger word is community, and Zach trigger phrase is focus group. Focus groups are nuts. They are nuts. Yeah. What about this, guys? Rambo and the Force of Freedom and My Little Pony.
Why not, dude? No, this is where we're gonna see the return of Mask. It's gonna be awful. It's gonna be like Mask and God knows what to ruin our day.
Masters of the Universe Rock Lords. Well, they had Rock On and Stondar, didn't they?
Oh, unfortunately, they did.
Those were their Rock Lords. Yeah, straight up. Yeah. Suka says Tails turns into his red biplane. Jay,
that's actually kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Are we going to get a Transformers Gem crossover? I mean, this is all just fun to laugh about. Whatever.
Well, we can listen if Mattel and Hasbro are going to do a collab. Let's get a Barbie and the Rockers and Gem crossover. I'm down for that, man. Let's relaunch Gem. I'll be first in line.
Inhumanoids versus the Smurfs. Guess who wins? Smurfs? I don't know. Who would win?
Inhumanoids.
Inhumanoids because they're bigger.
Step on the Smurfs. Team up with Gargamel and take over the Smurfs. Inhumanoids was a rough cartoon. If you watch some of the early transformations of the people turning into the monsters, it's like flashes ripping off and blood. I'm like, holy crap, this is nightmare fuel.
Oh, it was no joke. Yeah, Jay and I, we did a whole show on Inhumanoids. We talked about how that cartoon, like, that had some serious adult themes going on.
Yes.
Plus, when you got Chris Latta screaming decompose, like, I'm all for it. Keys Collect says this is a way to squeeze some money out of those Redline molds.
That's what scares me.
Here we go. Thundar He-Man crossover.
That might happen.
See, they could have brought
Thundercats.
Oh, I'm hoping Thundar. They could have brought Thundar the Barbarian out in the Origins line, man. Like they brought out Sunman and all that. It would have been so perfect, dude.
I would be all about Ukla the Mock. I would be all about that figure. I mean, you know, it's like a Chewy ripoff. Everybody knows that.
Sprinkle some Conan in there too. Bring Conan in the mix. Come on.
Snorks and Spiral Zone. Everybody's just going nuts. Inhumanoids, Ghostbusters.
Ooh, yeah.
Monster High and Gem.
That'll probably really happen.
Maybe.
That'll probably be some exclusive.
Our good friend Gonzo, what's up, buddy? Let me give you a good salute. Channel member for 8 months since day one. Says, what's up, gents? Another case of suits thinking this shit up and no creative authority exists.
Recreated the wheel.
Do you guys... Okay, let me remove some of this crapo from the screen.
I did send you a picture over Facebook. I don't know if you can just add it or not, Chad. I think I have to convert mine over. But it's from Matt from my Discord. It's the picture of the Sonic Transformers.
Oh, well, that's cool because I don't give a crap. Just kidding. I'll pull it up right now. Oh, yeah, there they are.
It's like my parents are fighting in front of me.
Mom and Dad aren't getting along.
No, I'm uncomfortable.
I saved it. Do you guys think that outside of indie toy companies and, you know, independent creators, where do you think we're at with anything new? Any new ideas? Anything? Something? Because I have my opinions.
New ideas? Well, they're only gonna market old ideas that we are nostalgia. That is the drug, the high that we chase. So renditions, they're crossing over things, you know, all these deep cuts with mad balls, and I mean they could still bring out some supernaturals and relaunch Inhumanoids, but they did that with what's the ones with the sectars, and those are ending up on the clearance shelves.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah, nacelle. Yeah, nacelle.
Dude, like sectars without the insects. Like who?
Right, without the insects. Why do you want that? Come on now. The insects were the selling point. The glove, the hand, the puppet.
Even the little mini companions that came with them. And I was excited like everybody else that Stellara was in the first wave because she was never produced. And then in Canada, I remember opening up the box and I saw the $70 price tag. I was like, what? What?
That's crazy sauce, man.
Dude,
and
so that would be $50 US? Like, no chance.
In Canada.
So it's not going to be anything new. It's just going to be new versions of the old. Just keep on regurgitating. And sometimes they'll hit gold, and sometimes they all go to Ross's, like the sectars, and they're not going to do that again.
You know, and that's kind of the thing. Wait one. Our good friend Ryan Laserpants sends another $2 super chat and says, "Here's an opinion. I'm dead to him."
Again, third time this week.
Damn it, Ryan.
Bottom line, I think the crossovers are just both companies running out of ideas and still milking money from us Gen Xers. I said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not trying to sound cynical or be a downer. I just think it's the truth, man. And that's what I see when I look at those Transformers. When I look at the Optimus Prime Mobad, it's just, I don't want this stuff. But hey, that's me. I'm
curious what's going to happen in 15 years. You know, when the guys are getting into their almost 60s, and I've talked about this topic a million times, when do we turn into the tin toys or the 12-inch G.I. Joe generation that starts dying off? Everyone's freaking purging off their collections. And unless it's a property like Star Wars that has hooked our young generation that maybe they'll continue collecting, it dies with us. So they're going to pump it out right now while we're still having midlife crises and chasing that retail high and building up toy rooms because we already got all the vintage that we want. They want to get more money. So I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Dude, you're right. I think that they're going to go with us. I truly do. G.I. Joe was a brand that was known for reinventing itself, and for the longest time they haven't, and they just won't. They won't do it. That's why Mask won't work today, because Hasbro won't make vehicles. There you go.
100% right there. One of the guys, I don't remember his name right now. He's one of those usual suspects of Hasbro people. He was posting all this Mask stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so excited." And I literally took his post, shared it as a story, and I said, "Please don't, just stop." And then he actually responded. We had a nice conversation, but I was like, "Dude, you guys won't do the vehicles, you won't do the real rubber tires, you won't do the vac metallized. You're not gonna like. Nobody wants Matt Tracker as a 6-inch dolly without his vehicle. Like nobody wants this stuff. Mask is a vehicle-driven line.
Yes.
It's not about the dolls, right? I mean, those figures didn't even have freaking eyes. I don't want to see them touch.
They will make, we've talked about this for years, dude.
They licensed it out because Hasbro won't do it.
Or they'll make Mask figures. Let's just say they hadn't yet. My thoughts were always that they'll make the 6-inch Mask drivers without the vehicles.
Of course, because that's cheaper for them. But if they made the 3 3/4 Mask vehicles, most everyone would buy them, put their vintage or modern 3 3/4 G.I. Joes into those. I would fill my shelves up with Mask vehicles. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's best that they just don't bring it back. I'm fine with just having the original Mask toys. Just leave it.
And that's why I was saying earlier when we were looking at that picture of the Target, the boys action aisle, and I was just saying, like, I think it's great if people are for this stuff, but to me, I did say I see them as like widgets or doorstops, but if I can get a figure from, let's just say 86, if I can get a figure or a vehicle from 1986 easier than I can get something currently made at the end of 2024, and it's easier to get a hold of, it's faster to get it in my hands, why do I want to get invested in the current stuff? And independent lines, or these indie creators, Stan Solo, Valaverse, so many others, they're doing like new characters, new lore, new designs. I see either indie creators or independent toy lines, because there's kind of a difference, as the way forward. I don't. Whereas I think that Trapjaw Soundwave looks cool. I'm not a fan of this kind of like, let's just regurgitate everything.
Yeah, what the heck am I looking at?
That's from Matt.
Oh, nice. There's the Sonic.
Sonic, yeah.
I don't know though.
Yeah, see to me that's, and no offense to Sonic and no offense to Transformers, that is awful.
It's too kiddie. It looks like a 5-year-old toy.
They look like McDonald's.
It looks
toys.
like Paw Patrol.
Exactly.
Yeah, like a McDonald's. Yeah, it's either a Happy Meal toy or Paw Patrol. Like,
oh, that's gonna die so quickly.
I don't get it. Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah. Zakanan says, I'm down with companies making money off stuff we want, but make the stuff we want. Yeah. And the thing that kind of irks me about all this crossover stuff, right? And again, I'm going to run home to mama, so I'm going to focus on G.I. Joe. It's my passion. It's what I know the most about. You own G.I. Joe. You could make anything, but you pay $500 million to license Star Wars. You make Star Wars in 5 POA, retro or vintage or whatever they want to call it. Then they have the vintage collection, which is the modern 4-inch, all the articulation. Then they have the Black Series. Now they could do that with Joe. They could do that with Joe in-house instead of giving Super 7 O-ring G.I. Joe, and they're built like the core. They're like these massive barrel torsos and little skinny, like no detail on the legs. They legit look like core figures. Hey, look, Jay, it's Steve the intern.
That's Steve. What's up, Steve-O?
Steve. He's chilling out. but they could have kept that in-house, and they've got so many things that are convoluted now. Like we were talking about, their licensing everything out. They gave the 4-inch modern stuff to Haya, but then told them they can only distribute it in Asian markets because they were supposed to bring back the figure subscription service again, which is like a HasLab for dollies, no risk, all reward. And it's like they're chasing their own tail, trying to make money from licensors, but they'll bend over backwards for Star Wars and Marvel. And Star Wars, even though it is evergreen, Justin, like you were saying, it's been eating its own face.
Of course,
the past couple of years.
Listen, it's because the shows are terrible. It's easy. The shows are terrible. Why can't?
Because all it is pump out content, and the same with what you see on like Disney Plus with Star Wars and Marvel. You're seeing with these toy companies, just pump it out. Just pump it out.
Get it out. Well,
sorry, Jay, I interrupted you.
No, I was just gonna say why. I just want this question answered, and I've been asking it for years. I don't even know if there's an answer. Why can we just let's stay in the G.I. Joe lane? Why can we not just get brand new characters for G.I. Joe? I don't care if they're from the 2011 Hama books. I don't care if someone has to sit there and actually write and make new characters. Why can't we just get new characters for G.I. Joe? Why?
I'll tell you why. Because there's not going to be enough people that have that nostalgic gene. So there's only going to be 5% of the collectors that are like you that go, yes, I want it. And there's not enough people demand for new characters, enough people that are going to dive in for this offshoot of a comic or a new branding of it. I think it would be a great idea if they could relaunch it, but it's a chasing of the nostalgia. It's a chasing of the what is old, recreating it into new. So if they could harness it, I would be all for it. Like, I love what you're saying, but I don't think they know how to do that because the cartoon died. The freaking
but the comic book has never stopped. It's never stopped. So it doesn't make sense. I know what you're saying.
I know a lot of guys do, but how many Joe collectors continue to read it?
Even if you do, like, let's just use Classified for an example. Okay. Even if you did, like I said earlier, 5 figures in a wave, just make one new character. I'd even be happy with that. I'd be exploring it more. But us as Joe fans and toy collectors, like, don't we have to look at the mirror at some point and say, I'm sick of buying, for me, Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker over and over and over and over again? But I do it.
How many snake eyes do you need?
Right. Same thing, right? Like, well, this one's a little bit closer to the way Mark Hamill looks, and I still get suckered in. But, finally, like I said, last year was the end of it. I'm done with buying that stuff. It's just the same thing we're buying over and over again. And the prices, especially in Canada, are absolutely ridiculous. And I will not do it. And that doesn't mean I don't love toys, man. It just means I'm not paying $46 for a toy.
And you're not the only one, Jay. This ain't a Jay thing. This is a worldwide thing. Like, I hustle toys. Like, I only have a handful of Black Series Star Wars figures in my collection. That's not my thing. I love Star Wars, but I have a nostalgia for the vintage ones. But people are liquidating. It's hard for me to sell Black Series Star Wars. Old ones, the old orange label stuff from 10 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's a quarter of the price that I could get, 8 years ago or whatever. Yeah. People are just going, I'm done with it. I'm out. I'm selling my collection. So it's already turning into the tin toys where supply has overgrown demand for it, and it's just down because people are done with it.
And that's kind of the thing. Like, I do all my toy shopping at like collectible stores, like mom and pop toy shops, and I see them coming back. Like, there's definitely a resurgence of those. And I do have to touch on this. Ryan is correct. Hasbro licensed masks to loyal subjects. Thank you, Ryan. But like Vishay Conley says, I just took my nephew into our local toy shop because they have more toys than all of our chain stores. Agreed, right? So you can get vintage stuff, you can get new stuff. And I don't like to say it because you're biased always comes up, but every time I walk into Yo Toys, which is my favorite local store, you know, I thumb through what they have for classified just to look, you know, and they're like, man, we can't move that stuff. Like we cannot move it. And I'm like, sorry, dude. I don't know what to tell you, you know. I really don't know what to tell you. But you know, there's a couple of good comments on this. I'm gonna put this back up. So Ryan says, my 14-year-old kid loves the Sonic Transformers. I pre-ordered them. They need to grab the attention of kids, which is true. When they do, I am happy to support it.
And I'm all for that. I'm well aware that this is not for me. I was just giving my personal opinion on it. So I'm happy that your kids are into this 100%. They should be into toys.
That's what we want, right?
Yes.
That should be like the first step, and it should be the last step. Toys should be for kids. This whole like the adult collector, just because we have disposable income, we can use that disposable income on our children. Like the only way that anything evergreen stays evergreen is you got to get the kids into it. You
to
know,
think that G.I. Joe might die with, you know, the Gen Xers or whatnot is terrifying to me. It's really, really sad.
There was another good comment that I started about Joe, but Headcanon sends a $5 super chat. Thank you, Headcanon. And he also kind of emulates what Ryan said. Right. My young adult sons are excited about the Sonic collab. That's cool.
It's great for kids, for sure, for sure.
My oldest child, my son, he loves Sonic. Always has. Like Sonic is his jam. That's just been his thing. And I'm sure he's all about it. Speaking of Joe, Jay, do you want to read this comment from Jim Smith?
G.I. Joe hasn't reinvented itself since 1982. 97 to 06 were redone. O-Ring 2007, 2017. Real American Hero Classified is redone modern. Right. And Michael French also said something about the Joe comic. For that, I was just blanket stating. Like, when did the Blaylock one come out? 2000? The Blaylock comic? It's 2001. G.I. Joe comic. Anybody? I just mean the Joe comic has been around enough, and the Hama stuff restarted in 2011. My point to all that was just it's been around long enough that they could even just pull characters out of that to make new characters. You know what I mean?
And maybe there has to be a giant reinvention, just like the 12-inch G.I. Joes from the 60s and 70s. They reinvented it in 82. There might be another, let's try this restart phase, but it would have to coordinate with a cartoon that my son's going to watch, some type of hook video game, some kind of phone game, like a Fortnite thing to bring them back in, because otherwise it's not going to continue.
It's a conundrum, right? I mean, there are properties out there that kids like.
Like I'm curious, everyone in the chat, people with younger kids, when War for Cybertron came out a few years ago, did any of your kids have an interest or watch any of that? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah. While we're letting that simmer for a second, Cliff is asking, wasn't Wolf Spider a new Joe character? Yes, but Cliff, I'm going to challenge you to pull up a picture of Wolf Spider, aka Parth Varma, and then next to it, pull up a picture of Beachhead version 3 and tell me how original that Wolf Spider is. Just tossing it out there.
And I mean, that's one new character. I'm talking like every wave. Let's have at least just one. I would be more interested in Classified if that was the case, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think asking for new characters in an IP that used to be thriving in new characters every year, I don't think that's too much to ask. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about new characters like the FSS subscription figures that they introduced a lot of, deep cut figures that I wasn't familiar with?
Sure.
That they could put in the Classified, just kind of sprinkle them in.
Super 7, with their reactions, as much as I dislike them, we're doing a really good job in doing that and bringing out characters that we'd never seen before. Stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, the reactions are not, it's not my thing for sure.
Yeah, and reactions its own thing. It's like Funko Pops, and everybody gets all wrapped around the axle about, oh, Joe and 5 POA. It's not that it's Joe and 5 POA. It's Joe being brought into this aesthetic of reaction. And as much as I dislike Brian Flynn, I will agree, at least they were making like USS Flag Deck Crew and Cobra Mechanics and all the different green shirts. And they made that female Night Raven pilot, Raven, you know, all the characters that we never saw.
And they would have been cool if they were a bit cheaper. Like that would have been cool for like background photos and stuff like that. You could have an army of the mechanics or whatever. You know, it's a cool idea.
I bought a couple of the Transformers reaction figures and broke them apart to use them for customs. They were good for that.
Oh, nice. The heads and whatnot.
Steve Palomar sends a $5 super chat. Thank you, Steve. And says, do you think they'll release a new line for the upcoming He-Man movie?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. And if G.I. Joe, and I don't want to beat a dead horse when I keep mentioning Kevin Smith and the Revelations, if G.I. Joe can tap into that same thing, I mean, what Kevin Smith did several years ago with reinvigorating the line, that's why we're getting a He-Man movie. A He-Man movie has been in the talks for 20 years, and we keep, oh, it's going to come, it's going to come. It's like the Lucy holding the football up for frickin' Charlie Brown. You know, he's always going to kick it and it disappears on you. But it looks like the gears are in motion. And if they can just tap into that, I think there's a bigger fan base for G.I. Joe than there is of Masters of the Universe. So use that playbook. Get us going. Come on.
And that's the thing that I always look at. I try to not compare, but the juxtaposition is Masters of the Universe died a spectacular, horrible death in 1987. Like, it went from top of the world to beyond broke. And Joe just kept on chugging along until, you know, Ginger Kent and Alan Hassenfeld decided to, you know, do the Ides of March kind of a thing on Real American Hero and Sergeant Savage, but that's for another time. When they brought back Masters of the Universe, somebody earlier in the chat mentioned the 2000X. I think I starred it. Yeah, Tyler says, I love the He-Man 2000X. Same.
Loved it.
But when they brought that back, you know, they took their time to bring back Masters of the Universe. They knew that, like, yeah, people know He-Man, people know Masters of the Universe, but it was more baby steps than just like vomit it out. Like, it feels like every time Joe comes back, it's poorly thought out. Even when you look at that Walmart exclusive retro, like, to call that line retro anyway, everyone was expecting O-rings. And when it was just
2020,
when it was re-releases of the 50th anniversary figures, people were pissed. Yeah. Like, they shouldn't have called it retro. You shouldn't have taken 50th anniversary 2-packs, put them on single cards. You got version 2 Snake Eyes on a version 1 Snake Eyes card. You got long sleeve Storm Shadow, which was his original comic appearance, long sleeves. You know, on the version 1 card, it's very much a hubris thing. Like, whatever, it's Joe, they'll buy it. You know, we don't care. And to me, that it irks me because they don't want to do play sets. They don't want to do vehicles now. And Masters of the Universe, Mattel's like, oh, you want a Castle Grayskull again? And I know a lot of people say, oh, it went to clearance and this, that. The point is that Mattel showed we can still do this. We'll do the Roton. We'll do Stridor.
All the vehicles. All the vehicles.
You know, all that stuff. Whereas great. Hasbro's over here like, I'll give you a hallway. Do you want a hallway? No, I don't want a hallway.
Nothing's worse than the Bespin Carbonite chamber that they did. Dude, that's the worst. For $80, I was like, what are you guys? Are you crazy? Like,
or the Tanta V4 hallway. It's like, well, if you many, you could make the full hallway, but then they limit it.
3 of them at $80. It's a good deal.
Only limited. World Made of Cardboard sends a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. It's good to see you. Mattel and Hasbro are both owned by the investment firms Vanguard and BlackRock.
Everything's owned by BlackRock.
Yeah, they're like the primary stakeholder or whatever. Yeah, correct. These collaborations are one guy yelling down the hall to another.
Hey, what else? Hey, Peter, man, what else do we used to like when we were kids? I don't know. Hey, man.
You want to do Stinkor or Evil Lynn? What?
What the hell's the Stinkor? The skunk one. Oh, okay.
Thank you very much, World Made of Cardboard. Neil Temple says classified buzzer was $60 at
True
Toys
story.
R Us in Canada.
True story.
What? Stop it.
Toys R Us is awful.
You know what this is?
Awful.
You know what this is? I'm going to hit it.
Oh,
Justin, if your kid's in the room, plug his ears. You know what this is?
That's that bullshit. That's that bullshit right there.
There it is. Finally busted it out for the first time tonight. That's that bullshit.
Oh, I got to show you something.
Please do. I thought
This,
that like oh blame Amazon. Oh, that's rough.
Jeffrey
That
crying.
hurts. That stings a little bit.
we actually, Justin, we had 2 Toys R Us in my town. One just closed over Christmas.
Oh, really?
Now we just have the one. Yeah.
That's rough to close over Christmas.
But dude, they don't carry video games anymore.
Oh, wow.
And you walk in and it's like there's so much Funko Pops, and then the NECA stuff, dude, is like $69 for like a Jason figure. It's
Stop it.
crazy.
Stop it. That's weird because in the States, when Toys R Us was dying, it was less toys, more games. Less and less toys. And everybody kind of knew that Toys R Us was like limping along on life support, and it turned into one of those things where you'd go into the store because you want to support them, and even if I can get something for $20, if I can spend $35, I'm getting dollies, they're getting money. But so many times I would walk out of Toys R Us with nothing because they don't have anything that I want. And then it just became like that losing battle, but it sucked.
I went in there for years, dude, and it was this same like old Star Wars Force Awakens clearance stuff in the main boys aisle. You know how there's the degrees of toy aisles at Toys R Us, they get progressively worse. But in the cool one, where the Star Wars stuff was, same Kylo Ren diorama, like marked down 50 times, like beat the hell.
Where the aisles used to be stacked all the way to the ceiling and all the way to the floor. And if it wasn't here, it was there. And if it wasn't there, you called them and they came and got it from Jeremy Jernigan sends another $2 super chat. Thank you, Ghost Daddy, for that, and says Mattel Creations is still dropping vehicles. Yep. There you go.
One of my favorite YouTube videos that I made was the last week that Toys R Us was operational in the States, and I went in there with my whole family. So it's like a time capsule of my children. I don't remember how many years ago that was, probably 5 so years ago, and going in there, I filmed their reactions and playing with toys and whatnot. And then it wasn't until years later when I went to Canada for a toy pick that I was like, oh, I forgot Toys R Us is still operational. And I did another little video walking through your guys's Toys R Us. But yeah, nothing beats the old memories, man. When I was a kid walking into that, I was like Charlie in the
chocolate. You remember when you walked in at first and you had to go through that maze? You couldn't just go right where you wanted. You had to go through that big, not really a maze, but it's like a bank aisle, right? You had to go around the U, and so exciting. And even the video games. I remember everyone said, oh, video games are coming out and they're going to take out toys. They never did. So I don't use that as an excuse for today either. I just think kids, for the most part, aren't interested. But anyway, that video game aisle, remember when they had the paper sleeves that you would pull down? You would have a paper display of the box art. You would flip it up. You see the back of the box art. And based on that alone, you would make your purchase. You'd pull the tag and you go to that little island cash desk. And he would grab Tommy Lasorda baseball for Genesis for you.
Jay, just as a follow-up on this, Ryan does say, at the same time I'm with you, I think they're stupid.
There you go, brother. There you go.
Just as a follow-up. Yeah, Draven Lock, definitely. People are being priced out of collecting.
Oh, 100%. I am. I still do vintage, but I won't spend that on new.
Selective new, though, Jay? I mean, there's got to be something that goes, ooh, It's just not you're all in or diving into being a completist for a certain
I got a new figure for Jay.
I miss it. I do. I miss it a lot. Man, the last figure I bought was Daredevil with the beard, the Marvel Legend red beard Daredevil from whatever comic it's from. I just love Daredevil. That was the last one I bought, and that was a year ago. It was last January.
That's the last modern toy you went into the store and purchased?
Yep. I can't do it, man. Like it's too much money for me.
They should make a Transformers Gold Digger. And see, here's the thing. Like Menjoza says, my son has just discovered his love for transforming and combining robots. Giant talking robots sell.
Yes, that appeals to the younger kids.
They sell.
Yeah. It's a cool, simple idea. Like it's amazing.
And that's why, the movies, until they became like a diminishing returns thing, they did well because especially in those, high valued Asian markets, giant talking robots, it's cross-cultural. It's not daring, highly trained special mission force.
And do you know what else, Chad, to add to that? The Michael Bay Transformers, a lot of us stick our nose up at it. But I know tons of people with kids that's their Optimus Prime. That's their Megatron. And I think that's awesome. I don't think it should be ours. And I like that. I would like to see these IPs move forward. We can think it's crap, whatever. It doesn't matter because it's not ours anymore.
Hey,
and that's what we need for G.I. Joe.
The Bumblebee, where they were all G1 accurate on Cybertron. And I was like, oh, snap. Look at that sound wave, boy. Yeah. Retro Blasting says it's because Gen X and early millennials hijacked these properties throughout their lives and arm twisted the companies to keep aging comics, games, and toys up for us. Yeah. New 52, classic example.
And that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah. We're going to reimagine the DC universe and restart it. It's all the same shit.
Yeah. This is my Luke Skywalker, and you're not going to play with it because he's mine. Yep. Right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we did we collectively, all of us, we armbarred everybody into like, no, you're only going to make Snake Eyes. You're only going to make Megatron. You're only going to make Skeletor.
It's that weird ownership, right? Like the weird ownership over stuff is not ours. But because we've spent so much time with it, we feel like it's like a part of us. It's really strange.
It is. Yeah. But on the flip side, if they did reinvent the wheel and they're doing what Disney is doing with many of the Star Wars, crap that we're seeing, I'm going, they'd probably drop the ball on a different front and we'd be in here complaining about what the frig are they doing? Why don't they bring back the old stuff? So it's kind of this.
What's the thread? Yeah, no, I get it.
It's hard to find that pocket. And sometimes what appeals to me might not appeal to you. And it just absolutely
you're gonna get one John Wick for all these failures. Yeah, I get it. And
it took me a long time to let go of Star Wars, and I'll always be interested when something new comes out. But I haven't watched anything since Obi-Wan, and nothing has piqued my interest. You're talking about a lifelong fan here, and I just came to the realization that maybe it's just not for me. This isn't George's stories anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
we like it or not, and that's okay, man. If they can do what they want with it, like you don't have to watch it, you don't have to like it. And I wish the good stuff that we liked would continue, but it's not. So what are you going to do, right? Get mad
that's
about it?
I was saying about toys, like toys from our childhoods versus toys now that just kind of leech off of the memory of the toys of our childhoods. Like I'll just go to a mom and pop store, independently owned, and I'll find those toys. And I'll support a mom and pop trying to keep a roof over their kids' heads. And I'll get, the supposedly Sergeant Savage. I don't know.
I'd rather listen.
All set in a box.
I'd rather them take a chance and make a crappy Sergeant Savage-ish figure again than just feed me Beachhead for the 50th time.
Yeah, I don't need. Yeah.
And I agree with Ryan. They're bad. They are bad stories. Yeah, but I won't even. I watched the trailers of all of them. I can't. I don't have Disney anymore, and I won't waste my time with that stuff. The trailer doesn't interest you. That's all you got, right?
Here's the crazy thing about Disney Plus. I know you don't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The ma'am canceled our Disney Plus membership. I don't know, like 9 months ago, and I didn't even know it. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
I didn't even know it, and I went to look for something. I don't know what it was, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we don't have Disney Plus anymore." And I was like, "Well, apparently I didn't miss it, so screw it, whatever." I
was thinking, they have Simpsons. I kind of want to watch Simpsons. I can go to my local game store that sells DVDs and get each season for like 75 cents. You know what I mean?
Physical media is always the way to go.
Yeah.
Always, because then you own it. Mother Slug says toy collecting is slowly dying. 3D printer is the plug that's going to destroy it all. Give it 5 or 10 years, technology upgrade, collectors will make their own figures. Why spend when you can make?
Well, we're already seeing that.
Yeah.
People correcting classified heads. Falcon was a great example of that, right?
They won't make a hooded Cobra Commander? How many of those are out there? How many of those heads? I have the freaking unproduced 1991 G.I. Joe train, the 118 scale train that somebody
that's the
made
coolest.
for me from scratch, and it runs. Independent creators and independent toy lines are absolutely the way that everything is going.
Yep.
I mean, that's just it. From Ramen Toy to Valaverse to Stan Solo to the Kraken Awakens to Suka from Toxic Toy Depot, like so many creators that I couldn't sit here in 5 hours and name them all. It's like, oh, you want that? They just make it, you know? If he's still here, freaking Michael from Retro Blasting always wanted, a no shit real Bespin play set, and he worked with a guy and made it. And the stairs light up and everything. Like,
that's cool.
That's the way to go.
Yep.
I said it on Christmas. I'll say it again after I did that live stream with JMK Custom Works and Dan Klingensmith, and we were talking about all the unproduced G.I. Joe stuff. We were looking at the unproduced Cobra Island playset that was supposed to be the big item for 1988. Well, I start talking to Guy Cassidy, then I start talking to the guy who made my G.I. Joe train. Well, Guy's gonna fill the gaps of the stuff that he never designed so that we can get as close to his original vision as possible. We're gonna make that fucking playset.
Yeah.
Sick, man.
Yeah, we're gonna make it because nobody else is gonna make it.
Right.
Might as well get it done.
That's great. That's cool.
Scott Hughes says, for one thing, kids aren't allowed to play. The G.I. Joe Marvel comics that I read when I was 11 years old had arrows ripping through bodies. Yeah, right. See issue 26. Tommy Arashikage, boy. We also had toy guns. Now kids aren't allowed to play.
I'm not going to argue with Scott, but I will say the same 11-year-olds are online talking crap in Call of Duty and saying like horrible things. So it's not like they're not exposed to this kind of thing. Of course they are. Right. They totally are. I get it though. I get what you're saying. I do. But I think it's the same but different.
I really think a lot of this statement is I'm just going to blanket it with individual results may vary because being a lifelong military guy, always living on military installations, there's always kids out with their, either Nerf guns or like, some kind of battery powered AK-47, always dressing up, always running around playing, soldier. So I don't know. I think a lot of it depends on the parentage too. Like we got to look inward at the same time because a lot of people our age with kids, the iPad or the Switch becomes the babysitter. It's not go play with your toys, go learn about like spatial intelligence and sharing and cooperation and imagination. It's sit down with your digital babysitter and shut up. So that's a big part of it too.
And I don't want to get too off
because you're a dad,
Right. And I don't want to get too off the rails with political craziness, but obviously we live in a different time or mentality or society than it was when we grew up, where military was more ingrained in sense of patriotism, Desert Storm trading cards, like all in. But now, after horrible things have occurred within school systems, maybe patriotism has kind of gone down a little bit in various nations, including the U.S. Maybe companies don't want to market that to children anymore because they're scared of liability or some little kid going, hey, this is why I did this. It was a G.I. Joe obsession. And we can always debate this 50 different realms, and that's why G.I. Joe used lasers and no one ever died, except that Community episode, which is awesome. And if you haven't watched it, watch the YouTube video on Community G.I. Joe. And someone actually dies. It's hilarious. But I think
he gets in trouble for it.
Yeah. I think something in our fabric of society has changed to not market that military type G.I. Joe stuff to our children. I don't know. I'm just shooting from the hips with that idea.
Yeah. And there's actually a comment from TK Storm that I'm going to bring up here in a second and kind of expand on that. Yes, Jared Leto as Skeletor. Do you guys have any thoughts on that before we kind of go back to what we were on?
I'm game. I think he'll do all right. He's crazy enough to pull it off.
I think he's just had a bunch of bad scripts that he's taken, because that's what you got to do. I mean, more like Morbius is in that Spider-Man world where Spider-Man doesn't
Morbid
exist.
Time.
Like, come on.
Morbid Time.
I don't know why they still try and keep that alive.
Oh, it's done.
I know
now.
why, but
yeah, the non-Spider-Man having Spider-Verses.
Let's have Kraven the Hunter without Spider-Man.
Nah, I know.
Come on,
ridiculous. Have you seen Requiem of a Dream with Jared Leto? It was like his first movies.
Yeah.
Boom! You want to talk about after that movie's done? You're like, what am I living like this?
And Jennifer
Graham, not Graham. Conley.
Jennifer Conley. Yeah.
Steve, I agree. He's great in Fight Club too. He's really good in
Hey,
Fight Club.
look. I will argue all day. I liked Leto's Joker.
At least it's different.
I didn't like the aesthetic, but Leto as Joker, a lot of his mannerisms, like when he gets on that guy's lap and he's like, I could really tell you meant that. You know, like he had a lot of the Joker mannerisms. I was just going to hurt you really, really bad and all that stuff. Yeah, they gave him the busted out teeth because Batman, you know, after he killed Robin. And that's on the storytellers. They don't expand on that. All the tattoos and the pimp stuff I could deal without, but the core of his Joker, I enjoyed. That's just me.
Oh yeah, he's an American Psycho. That's right.
Yeah, he is an American Psycho. Yeah, he gets the Huey Lewis in the News thing. TK Storm says, and this is a good point. I had a really nice conversation with Kirk Bazigian about this right here. There are so many modern terms that could be used to create like new G.I. Joe. Obviously, all the modern military tech that didn't exist in the 80s. Again, talked with Kirk Bazigian at length and several of the other Real American Hero guys about this. A character that is a drone pilot is an example. Here's the thing. When Hasbro made the HasLab Sky Striker, they finally admitted, like years later, yeah, we shouldn't have HasLab that. Well, no shit. But if you're going to bring back Joe, why bring back a fighter that's been out of the Navy's inventory for decades? Where's the F-18?
Because member berries, that's why.
Exactly. Where's the F-35? Where is a legitimate V-22 Osprey? Where's that? I mean, they did do an F-22. They did the Thunderwing, and they did the YF-23 with the Storm Eagle. So I'll give them that. But they're not progressing G.I. Joe. It's like we're stuck with Duke, Snake Eyes, yeah. And Snake Eyes is now it's a moniker. It's not even a person anymore, right? Since Snake Eyes died and Kamakura became Snake Eyes. So you could have a Snake Eyes no matter what. You could have a Cobra Commander no matter what. You could have a Destro. but you could have progressed Joe. But again, we still need the Lamborghini Cheetah, i.e. the Vamp. We still need
we don't.
M70 main battle tank. We still need the F-14.
I liked it in Transformers, the original show, when we got Old Snake. And they never called him Cobra Commander, but it was Cobra Commander. And presumably Cobra had gone by the wayside and he was just trying to survive. I like that idea. Let's do that. And let's have some other organizations. Maybe Cobra Commander can be like a military for hire, like a tactician or something. I don't know. I like that idea.
They had the whole story with the coil, and then that just kind of went nowhere. But Electric Blue Station says,
I gotta go. I told my wife this was only gonna take an hour. I'm looked at time like, oh my gosh, I gotta start talking to my kids here soon.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us. We're gonna tie it up and get through some more of the chat, and then we'll call it a night. But thanks for hanging out with us, Justin.
Hey, it was a blast talking with you guys. Yeah, peace.
We'll do it again soon. It's good to see you.
I look forward to it.
And thank you again for my 100% complete Night Force Night Scrambler.
You are very welcome. And you have another treat going to be coming in the mail in the near future that's going to blow your mind and everyone else's mind.
Yeah.
We'll save that. I'll let you unveil it how you want to.
We'll save that for a little bit, but yeah, we'll get to it.
All right.
Thanks as always, my friend.
See you, brother.
Appreciate you hanging out.
See you guys. Later. Oh, shameless plug. Follow not Justice Cury. That's my twin. Justin Carey on Facebook. I'm constantly buying toys, selling toys, posting inappropriate memes, just creating controversy. So you'll have a lot of fun. Head over there, hit that follow button.
I'm always there for the toys and the memes. So
yeah, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
You and me, Bardo. Old school.
Let's do it, baby. All right, I got a tier list ready for everybody. Everyone ready?
Here we go. S tier.
I got nothing.
Electric Blue Station says, my kids aren't interested in action figures. It bums me out. I fear it is something that will just turn into a very small niche hobby, like stamp collecting.
I think we're in trouble, dude. When our generation, it's time to go. I really do. And it's for G.I. Joe, I mean, in particular. I agree with Justin. I think Star Wars is here forever, regardless if it's our Star Wars or not. But I think G.I. Joe might be in trouble. I think Transformers will be just fine. But I think G.I. Joe might be on the chopping block. And I don't want it to be.
Is Transformers stuck in that nostalgia loop too, though?
No.
No?
I don't think so at all. Nope. I think the Michael Bay stuff, like I said, and they've brought out countless cartoons. So, you like the Bumblebee stuff because it's G1-ish. Other generations dig the Michael Bay stuff. I think it's great. They've done a good job at pushing Transformers forward, I would say.
Yeah. Pericles says, I'd think a unit like G.I. Joe would be outside the chain of command. Absolutely. That's what they were always supposed to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that a lot of these like Lorenzo Di Bonaventura types, because that dude is just so wacky to begin with. They don't understand that, like, Joe was always supposed to be like that super clandestine, like they're the tip of the spear. Like they draw from, Delta and Rangers and Marsoc, and they draw from the best of the best. I mean, their headquarters is under the freaking Chaplin's motor pool. Like no one's supposed to know about them. And I think too many people don't read and really digest the Marvel issue #1, where everything about kidnapping that doctor and all this stuff, and Baroness being disguised as it, everything, all of that was to get that Joe team in front of Cobra Commander, just so he could say, "I see you.
Yeah.
Now I know you're real." That was the whole point of that issue, and it was like that was the brilliance of that first issue. It set the tone of Cobra, of Joe. It also set the rules of the battle helmet versus the hood.
Right.
We're
not going to get into that again.
We're just going to gloss over that. Yeah. Speaking of which, Mother Slug says, Destro's face. What is it? What's
Metal,
with your face, boy?
Why does Destro have eyebrows sometimes? Well, I
83
think
debut and certain tech wasn't there. Always confused about his face. So
it's fun. I think this is like, how does Megatron's mouth articulate words? Right? Like, why does Wreck-Gar have a mustache? Like, I don't know.
I think a lot of this, I just thought it was funny. It was just,
Yeah.
it was a little bit of light banter and a conversation that was kind of leaning a little bit more toward the sky is falling, which I didn't, we didn't have an agenda. We were just chatting with everybody in the chat. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of this goes back to Sunbow versus cartoons. Like when you take something that's static and you animate it, you have to be able to give him expressions. So they gave him eyebrows, and they gave him a metal mask where the mouth moved. It's
Right.
just wacky, But
I
they
do.
also animated Zartan's hood like it was hair a lot of the time.
That big controversy. Is it a hood or is
he
it
would
hair?
move it out of it's a hood. He would move it out of the way.
It looks like a hair helmet in the show.
Right. But again, Lifeline's not a pacifist. Zartan's hood is not hair. The mouth on Destro's mask is not supposed to move. And the hiss is not a fucking tank. Boop, done.
And you know what? It's kind of like the Hama comic and the Sunbow cartoon. If I'm to think of like a comparison off the top of my head, it reminds me of modern-ish Walking Dead, where if you read the Robert Kirkman comic book, you had some of the same characters, but they were different and they did different things compared to the show.
Different beats. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like the same but different. I like that. I like that the two could coexist together. And yeah, Lifeline would be different in the comic than he would be in the cartoon.
Agreed. Yeah. And Footloose, Bazooka, all of that. Like they have to give them, some kind of animated personality where they're just
That's right.
A lot of times they're more different than they are the same.
Yeah, they have to stand out amongst everybody too. And plus, you're going to make an episode about Gung Ho, so he's got to have some kind of interesting personality.
Yeah. Quick Kick, right? Quick Kick is another one of those where Quick Kick in the comics versus Quick Kick in the animation, or Serpentor, right?
Yes.
It was Sergeant Slaughter. It was Storm Shadow's DNA. So whatever. Justin Booth, channel member for 7 months. Thank you, my friend. Says, Happy New Year, Jay and Chad.
Happy New Year, mate.
Happy New Year, my friend. Good to see you. I'm glad everybody is here. Stan, Bat Stan. Look who's here, Jay. Bat Stan.
Bat Stan's got a birthday.
What the hell is a Funky Pop?
Well, you see, it started off as a pretty good idea that it turned into. I don't know. We're gonna have one hell of a landfill problem soon when everyone stops collecting them.
Well, I mean, they already dumped like $30 some odd million worth into a landfill because
Did
it was
they
cheaper
really?
than keeping them. Yeah, like last year, it was cheaper than keeping them in a warehouse. Yeah, Ryan's absolutely right. Bain Capital, 100%. They gutted Toys R Us. Yeah. Victor, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Cruising through. Electric Blue Station says 118 is a world building scale. It inspires creativity. Yep. That's why I'm moving away from 112 scale. I don't want a bunch of 6-inch figures on a shelf. I want to build an immersive world. Well, our good friend Laser Pants from the 3POA says that 112 is rapidly becoming a world building scale, but I do agree 118 has been the benchmark world building for a freaking generation.
Yeah, I would say I don't know, man. If they can make G.I. Joe vehicles for 12-inch Joe dolls, they can make G.I. Joe vehicles for 6-inch. They're going to cost a lot, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather have them than not, especially for G.I. Joe. You have to have vehicles.
The thing is, like, once you break it, it's broken, right?
Yeah.
So when they realized that they could just HasLab stuff that could be on shelves, they're not going to unbreak that. And now with the Cantina, now Dream Project HasLabs have tiers. So you can either get the cheap HasLab tier or you can get the mega HasLab tier. They broke that again. So now you're going to start seeing more tiers in HasLabs. And they can definitely, just to piggyback off what you said, they could definitely do more world building in 1/12 scale because they did it with 1/6 scale, like you said.
Right.
But the reality is, and they've admitted it, they didn't expect classified to go more than 3 years. So why are they going to invest in tooling and molds and money and all this stuff into Battlefield accessories and vehicles, even the small vehicles? Yeah, they did the Ram, but did they make a Silver Mirage? No, they just repainted that Ram to death, you know. But then the Claws coming, the Cobra Flight Pod, you know, slowly but surely they're trying to put more back into it. But again, G.I. Joe fans, speaking as a G.I. Joe fan, it's like being stranded in the middle of the ocean. There's all this water around, but
when there's no clear direction, and I don't think there ever has been.
No, they didn't have.
That's where I was really cautious, and where I pulled the chute, dude, was when they started, well, you know, doing the Target exclusives and all that. Especially being Canadian, it was very difficult to get that. It's like Beachhead and all that was a nightmare.
And that's another point that you're bringing up. When you have a line that's arguably 60 to 70% exclusives, I know they're moving away from that now, but that's questionable. That's some questions.
That was rough. Yeah, it was like you would get all jazzed about a character, and then it's like, oh wait, before I get excited, is this Amazon? Is this Target? Is this Toys R Us? What is this? You know,
what is this? Look at this shit.
Chad remembers when he had hair. Do you remember when you had hair? It was like 2 months ago before you shaved it off.
It wasn't the greatest hair, but it was hair.
Whatever.
It was hair. I still had hair. I could show you either my driver's license or my concealed carry permit. And for some reason, they always keep recycling the same photo of me from like 15 years ago.
Nice.
Pretty weird. So nice. I show my driver's license and people are like,
have you ever thought about, since you're bald now, have you ever thought about doing the beard thing? The beard and the bald? You ever thought about doing that? Just curious. I've never seen you with facial hair. You're Homer, I'm telling you. You could grow it in like 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Like, whoop. So the fact that I am blessed with 100% Italian genes, I could literally sneeze a massive Mario mustache. 100%. Just poof, and there it is.
Dude, if I had as much follicles as you do on my face, I'd be doing the craziest stuff, man. Why are we talking about this?
Because you brought it up.
You brought up the hair.
Look, no. All I did was show a comment that I wanted. The thing about beards and bald for me, one, having a beard and being bald-headed, there are several shit bags in the toy community who have that look. And I think that's partially why that look puts me off. But it's weird when your beard just
stops
to nothing. It's almost like it's inverted, you know?
Well, you can wear hats. Connect the line, and then we take the hat off.
Look, I wear hats on streams because I don't want to blind people.
I like it. I do. Who wants to see Chad with a beard for like 2 weeks growth?
Do you remember when I grew that goatee when I was on leave?
Yeah.
Yeah. For like
what, it take you like overnight?
Yeah, it was like a week.
Yeah.
My very last deployment, soldiers have this weird thing where they're like, oh, well, I'm deployed, I'm going to grow a mustache. It's like, you didn't have a mustache at home. Why are you growing one on deployment? Like, it's some weird trope with soldiers and deploying.
Right.
And one of my peers grew a mustache, and he worked on that mustache for like 3 months while we were downrange. And I was like, dude, you give me 5 days, and I will grow a bigger mustache than what you got hanging off your lip right now.
Oh yeah.
And I have a photo of it. And
yeah, you have like,
yeah,
you have like, who's got a really thick beard? I don't know what we're talking about. Eugene Levy. There's a guy with a friggin' thick beard. You have like Eugene Levy beard. You know who that is? Eugene Levy? You don't know who that is? Come on. Canadian comedian.
Yeah, the comedian.
Yeah, like that. I have like the Keanu Reeves, where it's like a patch
I
here.
remember seeing Eugene Levy with a beard.
Oh, dude, he's like his face is all blue because it's like he has so many follicles on his face.
Geez.
He shaves over his eyes, probably. Anyway, back to Dolly's. Sorry.
Yeah, anyway, Mother Slug says, I never order online new figures and pay insane prices. I came across them all the time for cheap prices. The Dragonfly HasLab vehicle sold for $400, I think, I got it at a pawn shop for $100.
Wow. So it came in the mail and someone's like, nah, I'm good. I don't have room for this thing. I don't have room to get rid of it.
Yeah, the new Star Wars stuff are objectively bad stories.
Oh, I agree, dude.
I've heard that Skeleton Crew is like kind of fun, but at the same time, the Star Wars brand is it's been so like polluted that I think too many people aren't even giving it a chance. They're just like, nope, not even gonna try.
I gotta say, and I'm gonna contradict myself a bit. I said I watched the trailers. I didn't watch the trailer for Skeleton Crew, so I'm gonna backpedal a bit. I just didn't. I'm just so broken from Obi-Wan that I just don't care anymore.
That show was dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb. Not only was it dumb, it was poorly made.
Yeah. The big Darth Vader Obi-Wan warehouse fight back of the Home Depot. Jay, as someone who is in the same wavelength as you, I'd recommend giving Skeleton Crew a shot. Me and my wife are enjoying it. Well, there you go. Appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you.
I'd have to take to the high seas. Yar.
I'd have to sub to Disney Plus, though, and I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah. Damn, Chad, you got to be at least an hour behind the chat.
Try 2.
No, it's 25 minutes. 25 minutes.
2 hours.
I can see the timestamp on this. It's 25 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm really working on it. Electric Blue Station. I was watching Inhumanoids the other day. Kick-ass show. I want a Metlar action figure. That show's no joke.
It's good. It's good. The toy line's fantastic. We talked about it once on Versus, and it's a really small line too.
Yeah,
small
it is.
Line.
Like if you want a small line to complete, not gonna be cheap, but
It won't be cheap. But it's small. Yeah.
That's like saying like, oh, Centurions is a real small line. That won't bite my wallet too much.
Brave Star. Go ahead.
Lie. Chris Star with all the broken shit.
Yeah.
Zaymot Rogue. What's the progress on that Cobra Island chat? To keep it brief, everyone kind of agreed across the board to put everything on hold over the holidays, and I got all of the images. I got massive dumps of emails with attachments from Chris from Joe Declassified through Carson. So a lot of that's thanks to Carson. And so just going with right now, we're kind of reconvening, working on what images are there so Guy can take a look at them so he can say, oh, I've got this, I've still got that, I've got this. But there's some stuff that Guy never designed what the top of Cobra Island would look like, because when it opens, it kind of folds down like this, and then the helipad folds out like that. He never drew what the top of the mountain looks like. So there's still some gaps that Guy Cassidy is going to have to work on, but I'm going to record it all.
It's going to be cool, man. I can't wait.
And then I don't know, I'll do some massive half-assed YouTube documentary in a year and a half or something. I don't know. So. Slade on Slade says, I didn't fight overseas for this shit. I don't know the context, but yeah, I love it. Yeah, look, here's another one. Surprised I like Skeleton Crew. Yeah. That's cool.
Well, people said the same thing about Andor too, and I couldn't get past the 4th episode. I mean, it's just, yeah. I'm just done with it,
Look, I'm going to say something that's probably going to piss a few people off. Andor to me felt like Fellowship of the Ring. Like everyone's just walking. Like where I checked out of Andor was where they were like camping on the side of that hill, and I'm like, what is this? You know? And I was like, no, I can't watch it anymore. I just can't. I couldn't do it. Look at this guy. Jared Leto's Joker was amazing. I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. That's how far behind I have. Yeah. Marco says, I prefer modern versions of Joes and vehicles. You're talking like the 2007 to 2017 stuff? The Anniversary and Pursuit of Cobra and all that stuff? Are you talking about? I don't know. Jay, you got anything else?
I don't have a ton. I know that's your favorite time for collecting the Joe stuff. Yeah, I got a few of the figures. Admittedly, I don't know much about the vehicles in that time, so I don't really have much to say. I like some of the characters. Like Falcon, I think looks good. Storm Shadow looks great.
That Ultimate Storm Shadow, ooh, so good.
The one you got me, the autographed one, the version 2.
Yeah,
he's friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
He's better than the vintage one, man.
Oh
I think he's better. Yeah.
We're talking about that guy, right?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's incredible. It's incredible.
He's back here for you.
Thanks. Him and Steve, Storm Shadow and Steve.
Yeah, that's my
double S.
That's my for J boy for freaking Stadium J.
Yeah.
You wanna read this?
HGC member for 8 months, buddy. Let's go. This member chat message a tank? It's Chad. HGC trolling.
It's a tank. Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
It's a his tank.
Ninja Friends. Now we're all just talking about Ninja Friends. Yeah, Rad Toys Galaxy. Turtles will live forever. You can rehash that endlessly. It's interesting that property, they just kind of, I don't even want to say reinvent it, but they kind of like slap a new window dressing on it all the time.
But they make it interesting for a new generation.
What do you think about the live action movies? The Bay movies?
I've never seen it. That's when they're giant, right?
Yeah, there were 2 of them.
No, I've only seen when Feldman was Donatello. I've only like the 1991. Yeah. No, I've never seen those. But again, I think that's a good example actually. Rad Toys of an IP that is really good at reinventing itself and keeping current with new generations, because new generations of kids love turtles and they keep changing the looks while at the same time keeping it the same, like Chad said. The Turtles is great. I mean, the stuff today might not be our Turtles, but again, it doesn't matter. Our stuff is the OG book and maybe the first cartoon, but I think it's fine. It's not supposed to be for us.
I watched those Bay movies. I watched them both. They go a little to the extreme on everything. Like the techie one is like he's got like all these gizmos and gadgets and sprockets and doodads on him, and I'm like, you really don't have to go that far with the visual language. But I thought the whole thing with Shredder, that weird little underpinning of, is Shredder alive? What's his deal? Like I thought that was done well. I like that. Speaking of things that are kind of reinventable and safe, Zaymot Rogue says Joe is going to die because the military and the mission critical mentality has been demonized. I can't argue that. Transformers and He-Man are fantastical adventures that are safe to the masses.
That's fair. I can see that.
To kind of add to that, or as they would say in the military, to caveat off of what the commander said, Hasbro, a lot of people at Hasbro, and we've all talked about this to death, a lot of the executives hate their war brand. And that's why they'll just kill it randomly, whatever, throw it back in the closet. They don't know what to do with it. But
yeah, it was a different time in the 80s and the 90s, 100% for sure.
But I also think a lot of them don't realize the importance of that tagline daring, highly trained special mission force. It's not about, you know, they're not the Army. They're not the Marines. It's, you know, this special mission force that can do anything. And they don't play to the strengths of what made, and I don't even want to say what made G.I. Joe, because then I become guilty of the nostalgia loop stuck in that 82, right? Operation Blast Off thing. They could do so many things with G.I. Joe. You know, I mean, they already went to space, whatever, but they don't have to just stick to guns. There's a million things they could do. Rangers lead the way. I want to say yes to that, but if you know a lot of Army Rangers, and I'm not talking tabbed guys who are Ranger qualified, I'm talking like no shit, like Ranger bat guys, they're lazy and dirty and messy. Like, ugh. I know so many Rangers who are just slobs. They're like they're great in a firefight, but they are lazy fucking slobs.
Oh my god!
I'm just saying. I'm just telling you. Just you know,
telling it like it is.
I'm keeping it real. Every Ranger guy, like no shit bat guy that I know, yeah, unless there's incoming fire, they will just sit on their ass. Our good friend Laser Pants, little known fact, Pandora's hairstyle, Action Force, was directly inspired by Chad's concealed carry permit. Is that the
You've
break?
caught up to the Chad hair story arc of the chat.
I've caught up to the chat, yeah. Machine Man says, knowing that Chad is Italian, I can't unsee the hand waving.
What's Machine Man talking about over here with the hand waving? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying. Machine Man, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that you have never seen me and the ma'am in public in real life. There's a lot of hands.
Oh my god.
What? That's just how we talk. That's it. That's all there's to it. You want to read this one from our good friend Jeff Butler?
What's up, Jeff? I could see Joe HasLab tank that offers 3 original 13 figures as tiers and or 3 army builders type figures that would have backers buying even more, especially if you want the 13 OG. Yeah. I don't know, dude. What do you think, Jeff? I think this tier system is ridiculous. I think they first introduced it with the Cantina, and it's like, I'm just throwing out numbers because I can't remember what it costs. If you're going to spend $300 on the Cantina, you're going to spend $400 on the Cantina with the extra cups. Do you know what I mean? It's just,
I thought it was $4.99 and $5.99.
I know I don't know the actual prices. I'm just throwing it out there over here. Okay. Getting all handsy on me over here. So I just think you're going to make a HasLab or you're not. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can see that though, but they seem to dangle the things that they know we want, and they keep them. Oh, you want Zap and Flash and Short Fuse? Okay, well, we'll save them for you. We'll save them.
This has always been my argument, and I know it sounds crazy. They want to rehash Sky Striker, Dragonfly, High Speed Sentry, figures and characters aside. And I don't care the scale. We could make the argument for 118 and or 112 scale. If you want to give G.I. Joe a shot in the arm, that, in my opinion, take it or leave it, it badly needs something, because I see a lot of current day Joe collectors, and I mean the ones who like maybe wandered in from Marvel Legends or something like that. It's just like so many repaints, and even they see it. But back to the point, Dan Klingensmith's creating G.I. Joe. Everything in this book and the following, so this is volume 14, everything in volume 14 and 15, and the back pages of every other volume 1 through 13 All of this shit is unproduced.
We were talking about that when I was on your stream for that, man. You, me, and Mikey. It's like
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to give this IP a shot in the arm, go back to this shit, because most people are going to say, holy crap, that's new. Even me, if I know about it, I'm still going to say, yeah, man, let me buy that. The very first thing I would do right there, Battle Corps Rangers.
Yeah.
That would happen. The Seawolf, the battle station with the figures they were supposed to come with, the frickin' XS3 stealth tank, the battle bunker, all of it. I would do Battle Corps Rangers. Do it all. And and then go from there. There were a lot of killer designs that never got made. And let's be honest, not everything is going to get made. It doesn't mean that they were shit designs. It's just, when you're pumping out a fucking terror drone or an aircraft carrier, you don't really care about, oh, well, there's this little playset that's made up of 3 connexes. There some stuff they could just let it go.
Well, now they're not going to invest any money into molds. That's just not going to happen, unfortunately. Right? For that scale, at least. But
I'm just saying, that's, to me, that's how you reinvigorate something that's just been like nostalgia bombed into the ground.
Well, I mean, Hasbro, in my opinion, was doing Star Wars correctly. Okay, so you had Black Series, you had 6-inch, you had the vintage collection, which I loved because you had the retro back with the new articulated figure, but you were releasing for the new shows and for the new movies. And then you had the retro, which I don't think many people liked, but you had a choice of what you wanted your Star Wars to be.
But if you were a vintage Star Wars collector and then they came out with a retro, Din Djarin Mandalorian, you might be apt to get it, or a Cara Dune or whatever they're coming out with for that.
Right.
You might be apt to get it. So just saying, there's very many ways. There's very rarely the way. And that's kind of the whole point of any of us having these discussions is you could go a million directions and not know if any one of them would work.
Right.
Headcanon says, I need to resist the urge to grow a beard. Yeah, see, that's the whole vet bro thing. I have this operator's cap, but I've had this forever. Like, this has been on like so many continents with me since like 2010.
That's awesome.
It's just kind of like a lucky hat, and it's kind of become synonymous with me, and I like it.
Right.
But I don't have vet bro stickers or t-shirts or none of that stuff. That stuff is not.
I'm just saying one day you should not shave for 2 weeks. One day. Starting tomorrow.
I should go full Kratos. Is that like the thing?
Oh, you don't want that.
Doesn't he have like the braided shit or something?
The old school Kratos does, yeah, I think. And the new one's just got the beard, right? He looks like the 300 dude now. But he used to have that like pointy, like anthraxy kind of goatee thing.
Judge Dredd says they look like wizards when they're bald with a beard, or they look like that piece of shit Kenny and his bros. I don't know. Just throwing it up.
Or Taurus. There you go. Taurus from Taurus and Mercer and Red Dog.
Come here, baby. Come here. My dog's still scared from when she knocked my boxes over.
Oh.
Yeah. Eugene Levy, the dad in American Pie. I know who Eugene Levy is. I get what you're saying, Jay. Like, you can see his 5 o'clock shadow.
Oh yeah. Like, even after you shave, you can see it.
Because I was trying to like, when did I ever see him with a beard? I don't remember anything like that, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I need some sex wax for my. Nobody's gonna surf on my head, man. I don't need that. I missed streaming. Thank you for hanging out with me, Jay.
Buddy. Of course.
It's very enjoyable. Robert's Infinite Realm says, yeah, I could see this point. Skeleton Crew is okay, but it seems great in the sea of sludge.
I mean, I just for me, I can't. It's not enough to pay. What is Disney now? $20 or whatever a month. Like, it's not enough to pay $20. And then I think even more importantly, just to me, Robert, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying for me, the time it takes to watch that is, I don't have the time to watch it, right? For an IP that has hurt me so badly.
I know. Yeah, you're just not motivated, right? You're not. It's like being in like of course, it's not, right? It's just a poor analogy. It's like being in an abusive relationship. You just keep coming back to get smacked down again. But we've got the Netflix, like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And we waited forever for the second season of Squid Game, and then we watched like 2 episodes, and I'm like, nah.
It's Squid Games.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't even see any games. I just see them chasing some dude in the subway all the time. I'm like, bored. Matt Tracker Rubin says 25 minutes behind. I've already cooked and eaten dinner.
Cooked and eaten. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. I gotta get going soon, buddy.
Yeah. We're gonna tie it up here.
I gotta have myself some dinner. Thanks, Matt, for reminding me. Gotta eat. That's important.
Medieval Alchemist channel member for 1 month. Thank you so very much, my friend. Says modern 4-inch is what got me back into Joe's.
Yeah.
Then 3 3/4. Now select classified. Cool. There you go. I'm a big fan of mixing the modern construction figures with vehicles and play sets, from 82 to now. So
It's so close.
The itch,
It's so close, right?
Yeah.
They fade. You just got to cram them in there.
It just depends on the figure, because the modern ones aren't all one size. They're, some are skinnier, some are taller,
right,
etc. So you could fit like a Scarlet in a vehicle where, Big Lob, who's fucking gigantic, Big Lob's not going to fit. You have to spatial awareness kind of a thing.
They're not all the same size. Yeah.
No, they're not. Curse of Fenrir, channel member for 8 months since day one. Thank you, my friend. Use this as Chad Chat trademark. It's Chad 2024. It says, thank God it's Chad and Jay.
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
It is Chad.
What's going on?
Yeah. Anyway, Jay's got to go, and we're gonna bounce. Please, everyone, make sure you go watch Hella Dope Toys. They will be on in, I believe, an hour. So, Jay?
Hey, it's been an absolute pleasure. We haven't been together, really. I was on one of your shows, I think Christmas Day.
Christmas.
But, we got to work something out still for our show. It's just tough. And I get messages all the time from you guys, and I appreciate that. And it's not that we don't want to do verses. It's I'm streaming full time and then making videos the days that I'm not streaming. So it's really just trying to fit it back in is all. So
yeah, and I retired from retirement. I guess we could say it like that.
You got sick of sitting around, yeah.
I went back to work. Yeah, I got a good job offer. I took it. I felt I could be value added, and it's important. I don't really like to broadcast what it is because the nature of it. But I went back to work. So now I've made the decision that Sunday at 5 Eastern this is going to be like my stream time now, because I can't get home Wednesday by 5 o'clock my time to do a stream and then add in the pregame. So I'm just going to move it to Sunday. So Sunday was.
You got to do what you got to do, man. You know what? And I know you don't like that using that word, but I love the word community, and I will say our community has always been good at just adapting. Right? I mean, life happens, so
I will accept that.
There you go.
I will accept it in that context.
Awesome.
I don't like how the word community gets abused. That's what I don't like.
Sure.
That's what I don't like, because there's a lot of vitriol and a lot of negativity, and I think about it in terms of like my neighborhood. Would I want to be surrounded by a lot of these people in my neighborhood? No. so you're not part of my community. It's just people abuse that word to like justify it.
No. Look at these guys here. Look at these two. Ban these two. Matt, ban these two.
Which
or
two?
wrong chat. No. In my community, on my channel, we are an absolute community, and everybody who's a part of that knows that they're welcome, and everyone's very respectful. So I can't speak for all communities,
Like,
but
like this guy with his 14-year-old humor. Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to throw that up here in a second. But before we go, Daredevil Dave sends a channel member for
Dave?
5 months. Thanks, my man. Says, best way I can think to spend Sunday evening. I agree. And I will be back next Sunday. Show.
Rocking and rolling.
Bardo, I love you, dude.
Love you too, buddy.
Congratulations on Nintendo 64 Quest. I know we're not giving spoilers, but I have to say, the way that it ended, at first I thought it was going to be like a weird bittersweet, that like the direction it seemed like it was going.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way that it bookended with Nintendo Quest and a certain somebody, I was like, man, that was perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, and we could talk off camera about that anytime, but it certainly wasn't intended to go that way. So all this stuff,
I know. I know the tribulations and stuff, but I still thought it was great, man. It was poetic. I loved it.
Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's more than a 90-minute documentary now, that's for sure.
It was a smart move, I think, to make it a series. You could just show more. You can show more time in the stores, which I think people ultimately want to see. They want to see all these unique stores and kind of go on that journey with the dude who's hunting, and you just get to pick out and see things, and just more time is better, and it makes sense. And TV format seems to be where things are going lately. So yeah,
absolutely. I got to hit a couple things before we go, because I don't think it would do it justice to just roll it in the outro, but I thought this was nice. Rondo says, Sundays are for Jay and Chad. Got it. You are my church. I thought.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
And then Matt says, I'm not a freaking mod here.
I know, it's just a joke.
You could be if you wanted to be. I don't even know where all my mods went. I think they all went to bed.
I'm always like Matt Band Cutthroat, like every day. It's just
I think they all went to bed.
Joke.
Yeah. Gonzo says, in Chad we trust. I greatly appreciate it. And then Figure Fight Club, hit me up on Instagram. We'll talk about it. Yeah, if you're free Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, just hit me up on Instagram. And Jay, you're going to sign us out, buddy.
What do you want me to say? Oh, no.
For the love of toys and the
love of toys and the love of scarves, everyone have a Merry Christmas. And to all you people who watch Die Hard for a Christmas movie, I feel sorry for you. Happy New Year, and I'll see you on Easter. Chad?
Take care of yourselves.
And each other. We stole that from Jerry Springer.
Look, I love it. I love when you guys did it. It's it was great then, and it's great now. Have an awesome day.
Chad, how insensitive of you.